Welcome to Balls and Brews, Pod 29. Last day of baseball.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers. Last day of regular season baseball.
Correct. Regular season baseball.
Wow. What are we drinking, Chuck?
Yeah, that's it's an Imperial Stout, that's for sure.
Blood Dial.
Blood Dial, correct. That's what's on the can.
Dude, you guys, I could not resist it. You have no idea how many times I said that while I was standing in the aisle before I even bought it. Blood Dial. I was like, I have to buy this beer.
It's going to take us the whole fucking pod to get through this.
That is coffee rich. There's some definite chocolate notes in there, like it's rich as fuck, but it's coffee heavy.
Yeah, it's a rich
11.5. It's an Imperial. I knew I was packing the punch.
Woo.
So, you'll hear Danny go, down he go, as he chokes him down. There is that one. Anyway, no, it's a delicious beer. This guy just can't drink, Imperials too much. No, it's an aggressive 11.5.
It's an aggressive.
To be fair, so 12% is the brewing company, and they're based out of North Haven, Connecticut. So it was the first time I'd ever heard of them. The can, I really like the can.
Cool
Go ahead,
can,
show the can again real quick.
It's a cool can for sure, 100%.
Yeah, neat can, Blood Dial. The name is great. It drinks a heavy 11.5. We've had smoother beers.
The last couple
heavier,
Imperials we've had have been way smoother than this.
And right around the same APV. So
correct.
If you like coffee though, see, it's funny because I kind of like this beer and I don't really like coffee, but it's very reminiscent of like.
I love coffee beers and I don't like this one.
You don't like that one?
No.
Maybe let it open. Maybe
it's
let
kick in my fucking pants. That's what it is.
From a guy who just drinks whiskey, I was gonna say. So in the spirit of drinking whiskey and drinking in general, if you will, beer question, I guess alcohol question this week is: what are some of your guys' favorite drinking games?
I always liked that. Was it the Kings one?
King's Cup. King's Cup was always fun.
What's the other card one that was fun?
Asshole was always fun.
Yes, that one was a fun one.
Asshole was always fun for a card game.
Yeah.
I always loved, any form of quarters was always good, whether it be like Rage Cage or something of that nature was always pleasant.
I think Rage Cage messed me up the best, but
if you played with people who knew how to play and you got caught, it could be a bad day for you for sure.
What was the rules one? Was that King's Cup?
There's a lot of rules.
Where you were putting like the man on, you gotta take the man off. If you don't do that, you gotta drink.
Sure,
more.
it depends on if that
whoever
rule is
makes
made,
the rule.
sure.
Yeah, like you gotta drink left-handed. If you don't drink left-handed, you drink.
Yeah,
right-handed.
that's King's Cup. You got it.
Yeah.
I mean, classic beer pong.
I was gonna that's I was
always
about
good.
Yeah. No, that's
I turn
That's
a lot of
tier.
other games into drinking games as well. I mean, cornhole, horseshoes.
Well, anything that you can have alcohol while you're playing is
any
technically
competition,
game,
really.
I guess. Yeah,
Any
for sure.
competition.
Mario Go-Kart.
Fantastic.
What's the dice game? Ship Captain Crew.
Ship Captain
Where you
Crew.
got to get a 6, a 5, and then your ship is your 6. You have to get that.
I think I was playing that with you the other night.
Yeah, you played that with us before.
That's a pretty fun one. But
That's a good one. So Casey just got a first down.
Okay,
we're right in the middle of the fourth quarter. We're 2 minutes and 39 seconds left in the fourth
we're
quarter.
almost done in the fourth
Casey
quarter.
up 23-20, but they're driving. What was that ball on? They're like are they in red zone territory?
Yeah,
they're on the fucking 8.
No, that's the 13.
13.
Oh, yeah, 13. Sorry.
Outside of the 10.
Sorry, outside of 10, yeah. But let's jump into some big news. Do we got any more drinking games?
I think we did a good job.
No, so
Anything competition can become a drink game.
Right, absolutely, and I guess the ones that we wanted to highlight were definitely there. We've turned anything into like you said, a drinking game, if you will.
Right.
Take a shot. Okay.
So let's jump into some big news. Lillard finally got traded, and it wasn't to the team that everybody was saying he was going to go to. It went to the Bucks. I think we actually touched on this during the pod that we thought it'd be cool to go to the Bucks. But I remember us saying it'd be cool if Middleton left. But it wasn't Middleton. It was Drew Holiday. Trev, you got everybody else on my phone is being occupied by the game.
Just for all the details of that trade.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense.
Yeah.
It was a three-wayer.
Yeah,
Three-way.
Phoenix had to get in because they had to salary dump.
Yeah.
So
And that worked for, I think, all three teams
I
to
do too.
win this
I
trade.
do too.
Portland receives Drew Holiday, which will come back to him. They also got DeAndre Ayton
from the Suns.
Yes, from the Suns, and then Tumani Kamara. He's a rookie, so who knows what he could be. They also got Milwaukee's unprotected first-round pick and an unprotected Milwaukee swap rights pick in 2028 and 2030. So
the NBA is allowed to trade.
Dude, so weird of the picks, dude.
So far out.
Well, and that was part of this.
I disagree with you. Like, try to drink it. Just try to drink it, just like an actual beer. Just try to enjoy it, just one little bit. You're gonna like it.
It's better. It's getting better now.
Yeah, as it warms up a little bit.
But just to go over that trade though, because that was an actual rule of why the trade was done how it was.
Because salaries had to match, and like there had to be all sorts of shit that played out in this, right?
Well, yeah, and there's a rule that teams aren't allowed to trade first-round picks in back-to-back seasons either. So
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
I was looking into it because I thought it was a bit strange. I wanted to see what that swap rights was.
That
makes sense.
Now that I really think about it, though, every trade I've ever seen, it's like 2020, 2022, 2024, 2026.
Right.
It does it. Or it does the 21, 23, 25. It always does the alternate. It's true.
Yeah.
Now that I really think think about that.
I never really thought about that. I like that.
It was a rule that was put in place from what the previous Cleveland Cavaliers owner who had traded like 5 of their first round picks in a row in consecutive seasons.
Save the fault of the franchise.
Yeah, it's really to protect the team from the owner.
From their own self, yeah. 100%. I mean, that's pretty great.
So that covers pretty much that. But of course, the Suns. I gotta get to the Suns.
They got a shitload of talent coming back their way.
Suns receive Yusuf Nurkic along with Grayson Allen, Nazir Little, and Keon Johnson. So,
how tall is
Nurkic?
Because we've talked about last year during the playoffs that teams had a hard time with the Lakers because Anthony Davis is a big guy. Then you get the Nuggets with Joker being a 7-footer, and how those two teams kind of were walking over teams with height-wise, and now you trade 8-10. I know you got Beal.
He's a 7.
He's a 7-footer.
I just found it.
Because I was wondering, like, you got rid of Ayton, and you're gonna have to go through the Nuggets and Lakers. But okay, if Nurkic is a 7-footer, then
they had to.
They got to get rid of Ayton, and then getting Grayson Allen, a nice little 18 points off the bench, can be a 20-point scorer.
He's transformed into quite a decent role player. Actually.
Yes.
This might be the best, I think, for the Suns in that aspect.
Well, no, they physically had to. They
wanted to get rid of Ayton because of that contract. Then they needed to bring in more players to fill out that team because it's kind of bare.
So let's kind of give it. So what do you think of the trade for the Bucks?
I mean, I think it could be so much fun to watch. They're gonna lose a little defense, but that offense. Man.
But it's funny, if we're gonna grade this trade, you also have to then do the sub-chapter real quick of that. They just moved Drew Holiday today from that trade for more assets.
Right. Let's. What do you think?
Because that makes it a fucking A+++++.
Right. What do you think of it for the Bucks? We haven't got to the Blazers show. What do you like it? Do you like it for the Bucks?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you not like it?
Yeah. How do you not like it, dude? Because this is a kind of league where you get the right pair of superstars, the right 1-2, the right Batman and Robin, and you're almost unstoppable. Like, one player can take over a game. If you get two, and especially because it's the dichotomy, it's the high and low. Thank God teams are not trying to do two of the same. These double guards or these double, big guys. A lot of the times it doesn't work. You got to have the balance, and to have that on both the guard and forward/center area, I think that is phenomenal, because Giannis also isn't a traditional. He can be a back to the basket kind of center, but that's not traditionally how he enjoys playing.
But you got Robin Lopez as your center,
as a big five,
and then you have Portis as your other guy coming off the bench.
He's long as shit too.
So you have 3 dudes that are really good. You need Middleton.
Yeah, you didn't lose
healthy.
any of those guys in this trade. So
you need Middleton to stay healthy.
Yeah.
That's where also you
Giannis
have
too.
to happen. Yeah, Giannis as well. All of them. All really, realistically, all of them.
But no, overall, the giving of the Drew Holiday makes sense considering who you're bringing in.
Correct.
It was 2 firsts then.
Yes.
Yes.
That's not over.
No.
That's not overkill. So overall, I give this an A for the Bucks.
I do too, and then I also think that the only thing now is the depth. That's my one worry with the Bucks. Where's your defensive depth? That's all worry. Like
They have all the Antetokounmpos, bro. What are you talking about? They're all gonna get their chops this.
Okay,
this
so
year
let's
now.
go to the Suns before we go to the Blazers. I think the Suns did a phenomenal job filling the bench roles.
Yeah, again, we touched on that they needed to fill that roster out. They moved the contract that they wanted. A win. It's another
It's
win.
a huge win, I think.
It had to. They didn't have a choice but to hop in this trade to make it work. They had to dump that Ayton contract. There was no way they could move forward. They were like $80 million over the luxury tax.
Yeah, it couldn't
with
fill
like
out that
4
roster.
contracts. It was like 4 contracts with Beal, Durant, Booker, and who's
Chris
there?
Paul.
No, Paul went to the Warriors.
Yeah, he's on the Warriors.
But
it's
it was
the
Ayton,
fourth.
so that was the Ayton that
Yeah.
they had to move. Was
Yes.
the 4th? Yeah, he was but it was like, and it was like they just brought in Beal, right?
Yep.
You're not getting rid of KD,
Right.
and they're not getting rid of Booker. You knew who the odd man out was money wise, so.
Right.
Well, I
and
think,
attitude-wise.
and I think that this is one of those cases where a fresh start in Portland could be the best case for Ayton
Yeah,
as well.
I do
He
too.
could still play. He's got a good body.
Well, he can-
if he can stay, he just don't bang.
He could be
He's-
a 24-10
He's soft.
guy.
He's a softy soft. Final
23-20. Yeah.
He's a softy. He's a big boy, but he don't bang, dude. He does not play low aggressively. And that if you're that kind of frame, I need you down there throwing bows and moving bodies around, dude.
Definitely. But like you said, it's a fresh start, so maybe he can have a
Oh,
resurgence.
I wish the best for him in the overall.
Yeah.
I don't know him as far as I'm not saying he's a shitty person. I don't know him as a person. He could be a really great person, but it's just from the eye test watching him for many years as that Phoenix team became relevant. Over the last couple of years, they were in the national spotlight, but
And I
it was
mean,
never it for
and
me.
that Portland was it got to that point where they were ready to flip that switch and rebuild, and this was the trade that really did it because
and
they get another young player, 2 more first-round picks, and then they trade.
Yeah,
Listen
talk about
to
this.
this. Listen to this, everybody. This
Drew
is the
Holiday.
A+++++.
Yes, this is Blazers got a great deal with what they did alone, and then moving Drew for this is
Man, I thought about actually putting some money on the Celtics because I thought Drew Holiday would have been a perfect fix, and that was the guy they would have wanted. And I think on paper, they are the team. With making that trade, Celtics
Give up.
They give up. Robert Williams III, Malcolm Brogdon.
Who had rumored to kind of wore his wares out in that locker room though. That one kind of makes sense.
That one made sense. Yeah.
The Williams though, it's got to be injury, right? Because
It's
when he's
gotta be.
healthy, he's a great player, but
Right.
he's
So-
very, very healthy.
Yeah, a couple pieces for Portland plus another 2 picks.
Young, you pick up a little bit more cap. You kind of trade the Dame contract for the Ayton contract. You
Right.
kind of keep cap the same, I guess. Really, you're probably paying Ayton less, to be fair.
So they get the first round pick. I mean, they got it from Boston, but it was the Warriors' first round pick, and they got Boston's unprotected 2029 pick.
So they came away with 4 first-round picks, is what you're telling me.
4
overall.
first round picks
and
and
a roster.
4 players
I mean, come on.
for one.
Yeah.
Come on.
For one
Come
guy.
on.
the Blazers killed it. It would be really interesting. Now you have to make it work though.
Yeah.
Right.
Now the
No,
picks have to work.
absolutely.
Scoot
absolutely.
Henderson's got to be
The guy.
See what he does.
Sure.
Plus, they already have young pieces there that already have kind of showed some promise. So we'll see what happens.
But as far as team building goes, I think this is a win across the board.
Yes.
Great start to the NBA preseason, if you will. Like that's quite a bomb dropping, right?
Yeah.
I didn't look at the odds for the team to win.
I'm sure
Larry
Milwaukee
O'Brien.
went up substantially.
Milwaukee's
Well,
number one.
Yeah, I didn't look at it until after they made the trade and got Dame. And after that, they were at the top at plus 375. The Nuggets after that at 475. Oh, wait. It was the Celtics after that at 500, but with that trade getting
I bet they jumped.
Holiday, they went up to 450, so they jumped the Nuggets.
Wow.
Then we got the Suns at 550, the Warriors at 1,000, and your Lakers at 1,300. So, that's pretty good odds if you want to make that bet.
Yeah, I like that odds. Didn't you have one? We had one more NBA, right? Didn't?
My last NBA
Yes,
news:
he
Draymond is out 4 to 6 weeks to start
Saw
the
that.
season.
Saw that. It's bad.
Does that matter?
No,
Does that matter?
not hugely. Well, it depends on how far you get down.
just so not a Draymond guy.
It's just a key injury.
Yeah.
I don't think it means a whole lot, especially. I'm really kind of hoping to see more from Kuminga, who's going to be his replacement anyways.
Sure.
It'd be nice to see if some of these young pieces are going to step up for the Warriors.
Yeah.
Kuminga in general.
So in another little shout out of basketball related news, we want to touch on Breanna Stewart getting the MVP in the WNBA, and also the matchup is set for the finals. There, it's Vegas versus the New York Liberty. So she spread her wings from the team that drafted her, which was the Storm. She should have stayed. Anyway, she won some chips for us. We appreciate it. Her and Sue Bird. Anyway, Vegas versus.
Vegas
New York.
won it last year too, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're the number one seed. They're rolling. Yeah, they're the hot team right now.
Yeah.
So, and with Ionescu and Stewart though, it's gonna be these are the two best teams right now in the WNBA. So I guess that's kind of cool to see. A 5-game series is all they play for the finals, but that's coming up.
Yeah, so let's touch on a little other news. USA gets pounded in the Ryder Cup by Europe, 16.5 to 11.5. They were getting smoked day one. They made a little bit of a comeback. Day two, but they only get their hopes shot down pretty early day
What
three. Not a good showing for the U.S. Not a good showing. Show a little spill action. And then XFL and USFL are merging.
This is just like the Live and the PGA, right? Is just everybody's merging now?
No,
I think the LPGA and Live probably has more meaning than this merger.
It does.
This merger only will be something is if they could get a partnership with the NFL.
But
if they can ever pull that off and become like a minor league,
I don't know why they don't
have that other than just college.
It'd be kind of cool to see. If they, because I don't know, I think it'd be kind of cool if the NFL gave them a bone and it kind of was a minor league system to the NFL.
Well, and then you have more teams now because the XFL and the USFL. And, we talked about it with college, but it would be crazy, just crazy if they had a partnership with the USFL and XFL and created a relegation.
Awful
the worst NFL team goes into this league.
Right. No,
the best team goes into the NFL.
I believe
You
the
knew where I was
relegation
going.
rule. Yeah, absolutely. The relegation rules in soccer. It's you have to suck for 2 years though. It's not just 1 year. So you do get a grace year. They're not like, all right, well if you shit the bed, the very next. But yes, no.
But
Oh my god.
consecutive years and you're out of the NFL.
That would light a fire under everybody's ass. What have you done for me lately? I got no time to suck. None. Dude.
Man.
Let's go from one.
The Packers got relegated. The Packers got relegated. Could you imagine? The Bears, they'd be there within a couple of years, but
let's go from talking about relegation, how we talked about college football, to actual college football.
Yeah.
So we touched on a lot of games. We touched on about 6 games to watch and keep your eye on. Friday night, big Pac-12
oh my
matchup.
god, Utah looked so bad. I watched almost that whole game.
Dude, did you have a feeling? I forgot to look up. There was a lot of drops.
Yes. Utah's receivers did their quarterback absolutely no favor.
So it scored 21-7, not a barn burner, but Utah can't score. Utah's offense looked awful.
They were real bad. They tried 2 different quarterbacks, and the second one was worse than the first one because he wasn't athletic. At least the first one was athletic. But
they've been
I would
playing
say
both though.
Sure,
Wow,
but at one point, that Nick Williams kid was 5'3", for 16 for some, and I would say out of those 11 incompletions, 6 of them were drops, blatant drops. Yeah, not 50-50 balls, not like that's
like hitting you in the hands.
Yeah, in stride, like catch this goddamn ball. Maybe one a little low, but still catchable ball. It sucked, dude. Like. And I was, talking to my pops about the idea of like, dude, that's got to suck as a quarterback where you physically, I can't get any stats. You make my stats look worse because you can't catch the fucking ball.
Well, then it becomes another classic.
How are you supposed to be my boy?
It becomes another classic Pac-12. Washington State beats Oregon State last week. Now Oregon State comes out and beats Utah this week. It's a classic Pac-12
cannibalization,
beating each other up type of deal. Oregon State did look better, but Utah's offense looked.
To highlight probably the highlight of the game, I thought was Silas Bolden, the junior wide receiver for Oregon State.
Sure was.
Yeah.
6 receptions, 100 yards, a touchdown, 2 carries, 53 yards, and another touchdown. This guy is a weapon.
Yeah, he's an all-around. He's like a kind of everything weapon. He's a football player, not necessarily a position player.
Man, but this is a tough loss for Utah. They're
gonna drop like a rock, dude.
I don't think they should. I really don't think they should. They might.
Who's by?
But
Drugs are by.
From what I've heard, they have a bye next week, I believe, and they're planning on getting Cam Rising back the week after.
And see, I don't know. And the one reason I don't think they dropped too far, Chuck, is because Cam wasn't in. So they're going to drop, but they're going to drop in. They're not playing anybody ranked next week. So
they do get the favor that it was in Corvallis, so it was on the road. So no, they should be in the top 25 still.
Correct.
Yes. No, I'm not saying they're gonna fall out, but they're gonna probably fall into the 20s. It's gonna be a hit like 2021. They're gonna fall like 10 spots.
With all the teams being ranked in the Pac-12, though, they'll still have a chance to climb back up.
Sure. And but that's a loss. Ooh.
Another matchup we talked about was number 3 Texas. Dude, they fucking rolled Kansas. Texas looks like the real deal. Quentin Ewers, I didn't know that he was a runner. Dude, he took off for a couple big runs in that game as well. He might be pretty good, dude. He can throw it and he can run it, man.
He had a solid performance. I don't have his numbers in front of me, but it was solid. It wasn't. I think he only threw for 1 touchdown, 300-something yards. It was solid. Kansas was missing their starting quarterback, Jalen Daniels. They had backup Jason Bean in. So, yeah, you would have thought it would be a closer game with the starting quarterback, of course. But the sophomore running back, Jonathan Brooks, just went off for Texas.
Yes.
21 carries, 218 yards,
Get off,
2 touchdowns, a reception for another 23 yards.
Come on, video game, bro.
Dude, Texas?
Good game.
Texas
no, they
has
are.
got a
They passed the eye test, dude, and expect going into Alabama and handling them the way they did.
They got a tough test next week, but dude, Texas might be one of those teams you could say might be working their way into that locking up of number 4.
I think they win the Big 12. They're in.
I think they
I don't really even. Oklahoma's having a good season, but I don't know if they are on the same level.
The Red River rivalry is next week.
It is. We'll talk about it in our upcoming game, but that's a big time game next week. Yeah. So Texas, I don't know. I think Texas passed the eye test.
Agreed.
Yep.
One of the games we thought was going to be one of the better games, and it turned out to be one of the better games. Low scoring. Notre Dame, number 11. Notre Dame beats number 17 Duke 21-14.
Oh, Riley Leonard, bro, come up with a high ankle sprain.
Yeah,
what they listed him. It looks pretty bad. He was in that medical tent for a minute.
Dude, it did look bad. Yeah. I cringed when I saw it.
So you're talking of probably a month or two, which in college football season, that
could ruin Duke. And I think they get Duke, or they get Florida State pretty soon. So that without Riley Leonard,
so after eating that loss against Notre Dame right there, it's tough.
Good bounce back for Notre Dame. Tough loss for Duke. They had there wasn't any big standout players.
Hardman was just fair.
It was 2 games in a row now where Notre Dame's come out and had a good first half. Missed a field goal in the first half, and then second half offensively have looked bad. Defensively, Notre Dame has been stout all year. But this is 2 times in a row where offensively in the second half they have not looked good. I don't know if they're not keeping their foot on the gas.
God,
or
it was so nice
but
to see them back in their traditional unis. Those all green Irish ones that they rock are fucking hard to look at.
Yeah, those are a little funky. They don't
my
make a difference.
God.
But what else? I mean, Riley Leonard, he had an alright game.
He was very pedestrian, to be fair. They were harassing him most of the game.
The tight end from Notre Dame, he's been kind of a key contributor. He had, 6 receptions for 134 yards, but they were key, third down completions that he's making those grabs.
He definitely looks like Hartman's safety valve or go-to guy in those spots.
Tight ends should be more valued than they are.
A good tight end is.
What up?
Yeah, a good tight end.
Dude, that's my game. But don't play me on college football, bro. I'll fuck you up with a good tight end.
Then another matchup, which ended up probably being the best game of the fucking day, was number 20 Ole Miss.
That was
number
13 LSU. Oh my god, that game was insane.
LSU comes back from 30.
Yeah, they were dumped. Yeah, they were. Yeah,
and comes back, and then Ole Miss comes back. What a great game.
This game, straight video game numbers. These are obviously the two best offenses in the SEC. There was over. I wrote it down. Hold on.
Talk to me yards, dude.
1,343 total yards in this game.
That's sick.
13. Read that again.
Yes.
1,343 yards of offense.
Listen here, everybody. That don't happen every day. I'm sure there are
poor defenses.
Multiple teams out there who don't have that totaled up in different directions, like rushing yards and oh my god, that's insane.
If Jackson Dart has a better Alabama game, we could be talking him as a higher runner in that Heisman race. I mean, dude, he was running the ball, throwing the ball. His Alabama game. He needed an Alabama game to put himself in that running.
They all put up Heisman numbers though. Both sides.
And Daniels, dude. Right?
Dart was 26 for 39, 389, 4 touchdowns, 7 carries, 50 yards, and another touchdown rushing.
Yeah, sure.
Pedestrian.
And then on the other side, Daniels 27 for 36, 414 yards, 4 touchdowns, 15 carries, 99 yards, and another touchdown.
Oh, dude, just pedestrian.
Dude, and then it doesn't even stop there. Both teams had 2 receivers over 100 yards. Both of the running backs were over 100 yards. The one for Ole Miss did 177 yards.
So
on the
as
ground.
a defense, what do you even say? Even if you're the winning team, you still gave up 49 fucking points, dude. I mean,
does Jaden Daniels having 2 losses hurt his Heisman, or should he be that number? I mean, dude, his numbers have been pretty solid.
It does right now, considering there's a lot of other undefeated teams.
Yeah, and that always plays a part in that award.
Bo Nix is out there balling. Michael Penix is out there balling.
Caleb's so balling.
Yeah, they got a lot.
Let's jump into it. We talked about it. We usually talk ranked versus ranked, but number 8 USC going into Colorado, big time deal. USC was putting the spanking on them, let Colorado back in the game, got lackadaisical on defense.
That final was 48-41, correct?
Correct.
I turned it off at 35-10 or 35-10.
It was 34-14 at the half.
34-14.
USC's defense needs to figure something out. They need to figure something out. First
half, it looked good, and then I don't know, they just put it on cruise control. They just relaxed, I guess. We were talking about it earlier. Depth could be an issue with that defense, but it also just didn't look the same. The first half, Mason Cobb, which I think could be the leader of the Trojans defense at linebacker, he was flying to the ball like a homing missile. And Bear Alexander, the big guy that they got from Georgia, I believe, he's disrupting up front. And then the second half comes around, and they're still piling up stats, but there's definitely some.
They lost
misses.
They lost the intensity.
They lost the intensity for sure.
All the juice that was there, they thought they had done what they needed to win the game. right? They thought that they had already put boot in ass, and Colorado came back almost enough. You know, you won the game, but goddamn, dude. Once again, giving up 41, if you're Lincoln Riley, you go over to your defense and you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Let's talk about that comeback a little bit more, which was the star of the show was freshman wide receiver from Colorado, Amarion Miller.
Yeah, dude.
Amarion Miller, 7 receptions, 196 yards and a touchdown. 4-star freshman just showing out. This is his first start. He hadn't played until this game.
He hadn't played until this game.
Colorado just found another weapon.
They have so many weapons at wide receiver, but the problem is their offense and defensive lines are
their lines are porous. That's very true.
The USC defense line dominated the first half and did not come out strong in the second half at all.
Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about that. I mean, there was an interesting matchup going into the game where Shiloh Sanders, the safety for Colorado, was supposed to be matched up with Brendan Rice of USC.
Brendan Rice.
Deion Sanders, Jerry Rice's kids going at each other.
What does that got anything to do with anything?
I mean, it's some talent that's coming into the NFL.
Generational.
Rice had a huge game, dude. Rice played fucking out.
Shiloh, though, he was out with an injury.
Correct.
So that we never really saw what happened there. Caleb Williams puts up another, Heisman performance. 30 of 40, 403 yards, 6 touchdowns. Six. He did turn the ball over for the first time this season, though.
How dare he?
I mean...
And it was a tip ball, too. It wasn't even like it was a straight pick. It was a tip ball.
He has better stats this season so far than he did last season when he won the Heisman.
Yes, he does.
That's what we're talking about here.
That's what we're talking about, yeah.
And then we did have an upset this weekend, boys. Kentucky comes out and beats...
smacks Florida.
Rolls Florida around.
Smacks them, dude.
33-14.
Whomping. Like, it was embarrassing, Florida. Like, wake up, y'all.
Florida coming out and having a couple good weeks after losing to Utah and comes out and gets rolled up. Gets rolled up by Kentucky. Now Kentucky's ranked coming into this week, but...
So what do we have for this week?
Well, before we get...
Yeah, what do you got, T?
That, I just wanted to say, I mean, Florida kind of... I think they just got that SEC love, and they got that early ranking that they didn't deserve, like TCU. They just didn't deserve that ranking. A lot of teams do that. There's always like five of those teams out there, right?
Sure. You're kind of suspect coming in.
But I wanted to just say the player of that Kentucky game, Ray Davis, the senior running back.
Dude.
26 carries.
Okay.
280 on the ground. And 3 touchdowns. Bro.
That's a whole offensive game for some offenses, bro.
Before we do jump into some of our top 25 matches next week, Georgia did have a tight one with Auburn.
Oh, so they actually played a team. Like
Auburn
a reputable football program.
Auburn did give them a scare. That was a close game.
Anything else you want to touch on, Trev, before we jump into next week, too?
Just a couple of highlights real quick. Washington beat Arizona, and...
We snuck that one out, to be fair, dude.
Yeah, that one was kind of close.
We gave up a last-minute tut, and then we had to recover an onside kick. We won by 7, but we should have won by more.
Penix had another solid outing. He was 30 of 40.
We're going to have trouble with Penix.
Yeah, 363. He didn't throw for any touchdowns. They just gave it to the running back to pick up those easy touchdowns. Hey. But I mean, he did a great job still.
Because he's one of those. He has the ability to. You need him to just dink and dunk in West Coast. Totally, he can run that. You need him to fucking throw a pretty dime up the sideline. He can do that too. Like he's got all throws in his pocket, which I think is one of the reasons why, as the season wears on and as the drafting process gets further, he's gonna skyrocket.
Yeah, his stock is going up.
It has to. Which is why coming back was the smartest decision he had made.
I think he's my 3 now, but I think that with.
He can overtake me. I absolutely think he can overtake me.
I think he has to work on overtaking Ewers in people's eyes, too.
Really?
The kid from Texas. I think the
kid from Texas, too. Homerism gives me Penix over Ewers, but to be fair...
I like Penix over Ewers right now, but I think
Ewers... To be fair, I would say Ewers has really... has proven himself to me this season.
He's been consistent
and quality,
and he's got to keep being consistent.
He hasn't turned the ball over. He hasn't made those boneheaded plays that he was kind of known for those last couple of seasons.
Correct.
And like,
he's been good in Texas.
He's been dropping teardrops, dude. He's got that Russell Wilson-esque moon ball floater. Like, and when it works, it looks so pretty, dude. Like, those balls can get batted, don't get me wrong, of course, but, like, Ewers is passing the eye test, so I got to put a little respect on his name from afar.
Any other games, T-Mun, do you want to touch on before we jump into next week?
I was just going to touch on a couple players real quick.
Shoot.
Just other guys that are in the Heisman race. Bo Nix had another good outing.
Fuck, dude.
290,
Dude,
4
Oregon
touchdowns.
team's rolling, man.
Dude,
Another
Oregon's
18
for
on
real.
the ground.
Oregon's for real.
We don't do this for clicks, man. What a hype-ass speech, dude. They out here for clicks. We out here playing football.
Yeah,
what
I don't
a
know.
beast. You don't know? I love it. I love it.
I don't care. How do you want to
love it.
run it? I don't care.
As they put it out for clicks. I mean...
Then they put
Correct.
it's meta.
And
Come
dude,
on.
And you're Oregon, dude. You wear 75 fucking different jerseys.
Right. If Phil Knight came to you and said, hey, look, bro, I'm going to give you the tip top of everything you want to wear at all times.
I kind of feel like Colorado State and Oregon built Colorado up to be bigger.
Absolutely. Real quick, I want to ask Mr. Downey here on the end. What do you think of this beer now that it's sat and that
It's
it's
better
kind of
now.
open? Is
Better
it-
now?
Oh, it's way better now. It
Way
was
better
rough fucking.
You have to let dark beer open, everybody. I've been preaching that on this pod for many days. I will continue to preach it.
Any other matchup, T-Mun, you want to highlight?
I mean, shout out to Blake Corum, another 16 carries, 74 yards, touchdown. So he's doing his thing.
Hold on, while you stay right there with that team. Do you guys think that JJ's McCarthy with Michigan?
Good, not great.
Do you think first round? Is he a first round quarterback?
No, not
He's
even
not.
close. He's a Stetson Bennett-esque.
I think people have him in the first round.
No way. No way.
The way that he's played, I think closer to 3 or 4.
I'm way more with money, if not even lower than that.
Yeah.
I'm
Maybe.
gonna have to look. I think that people actually have him as like one of the after Penix.
I think that's
I
way
very much
overrated.
disagree with you. Yeah,
I do too. I don't
I
have
don't
there.
see it. If
But that's what I was
anybody's touting that, I disagree with that.
I'll have to look that up. I'll have that for
That's a clear case of college team, not college quarterback. He's good. He's good, but like
I saw somebody having the Raiders take him in the first round
No way.
in a mock draft. Yep, I did.
Past Raider drafts maybe because of who is drafting and they like those.
I hope
Dude,
we
I
fucking
just-
fire
man.
Josh McDaniels. Ben Johnson, come on
We'll
down.
get there. We'll get there.
Okay. Look,
Okay,
I
sorry,
guess
we're getting off topic,
well, yeah,
sorry.
and I want to get a little further off. To be fair, I want a little sidebar, just real quick off the top of your head. How many first-round quarterbacks do you think there are coming into this draft? If we were to shut off the season now, and we were gonna give first-round grades on quarterbacks,
5.
I have 4.
I have 5.
You have 5?
I think that there's maybe 5 that go, maybe 6.
Dang, that would be a lot.
that's a lot.
Bring it back though. We touched on the game already, the LSU Ole Miss game, but Thomas Jr. That guy might be the best player on LSU. He's I mean, as far as he might be the highest draft pick. I don't know where Daniels is gonna fall.
But they got a couple defensive linemen that I've been checking on up in people's things that might go pretty high too. That number kid that was wearing 0, and then the one kid that didn't play because of some stupid. He got suspended for 1 game for taking money or something the wrong way or whatever. It's some stupid thing. So they have 2 dudes up in the pretty high, but
Pretty high on the
yeah.
defense. But that Thomas, I'm telling you, he had 8 receptions for 124 yards and 3 touchdowns. That guy is just a touchdown magnet.
Ballin'. And when you can do it in the SEC, that pretty much guarantees your first-round pick.
Well, yeah. I mean, those defenses are nothing.
At a
Talk
premium
about
position
that.
right now, the NFL is geared towards wide receivers. They're shopping for quarterbacks, wide receivers, and edge rushers. That is what, and maybe a premium cornerback. That is what that is everything that's valued in the NFL right now. And a tackle, a fucking good tackle.
The last Heisman hopeful, Sanders. 30 for
Shador.
45, 371, 4 touchdowns.
Shador.
He did throw a pick, but
Yeah, he had a good game.
he had another good game.
So next week,
Some highlights.
obviously, starting it off with number 12, Oklahoma, at number
Tejas.
3, Texas.
Austin, yeah.
That's that 9 a.m.
TKO.
game. Red River Rivalry is always a 9 a.m. game, 9 a.m. So it's fucking first thing. That's a big new.
That's the best, dude. That's why I love college
West
football on
Coast.
the West
Kick it
Coast.
off.
Yeah.
Big noon.
Get it
It was
going.
funny that they ran Colorado SC at big noon, right? Like that's weird that that's a 9 a.m. though. It's a West Coast game. You'd think that'd be later.
Typically is.
Then you got number
There's a
23 LSU at number 21 Missouri. So Missouri jumping up in the rankings. LSU with 2 losses down there at the 20s. Number 1 Georgia gets a ranked team finally. Hey, Georgia.
Ho,
What?
Hey,
Playing number 20
ho.
Kentucky. Kentucky just
Kentucky.
getting in.
So they had to work their way into the
Correct.
rankings, to be
Correct.
fair.
Correct.
But dude, let's. All right,
But still, that's probably the best matchup
let's
they've
go
had.
Kentucky. Let's go Kentucky.
Yeah, let's go.
Shake it up,
Dude,
shake it up a
for real,
little
dude.
bit. Just a little, come on, dude. The fucking Bulldogs are getting. It's just monotony. It gets so boring at the top sometimes when it gets like this, especially when it's SEC ball, dude. We saw
it's-
Alabama do it forever, and then
Especially when
Clemson got a little
you're
shot,
a
then it went back
team
to Alabama.
that's at the top, and then your schedule is poop.
Yeah.
Poop. Not even shit, but poop.
And then Notre Dame gets another ranked team, even though this team had to work their way into it as well. Number 25 Louisville.
Hey, shout out to Notre Dame for having a thickum schedule, dude. They're not ducking anybody this year. Like they're
Nice to see.
They technically don't have a conference, but their schedule is thick, dude.
And then I got a sneaky
Yeah.
game to watch. It's a 5:00 East on. I think it's 5:00 West Coast.
Okay.
But it's number 24 Fresno State at Wyoming, not ranked, but Wyoming's 4-1, and
put
they
some to
played,
Texas Tech.
and they played somebody else really hard and
Yeah,
only lost.
agreed.
Texas, right?
No,
Yeah,
not,
didn't they play?
not Texas.
They didn't beat Texas, but they played Texas
Did
really
they?
hard. Yeah, I have to look it up.
They played Texas Tech and Texas.
I think so.
I know they beat Texas
They
Tech.
beat Texas Tech. I think they played Texas
I don't think
hard.
that's right.
I'll have to look, but they
We're
played.
gonna check. Double check. We don't want to be
But
wrong.
that could be a sneaky game.
I mean,
Fresno
Fresno
State.
just put our boys away today.
Yeah, Nevada.
Or
sucks.
yesterday, my bad.
Dude, Nevada bad.
The
Nevada
offense.
bad.
The offense.
Not
The
even.
defense isn't too bad. It's
Not
the
even
offense is really
bad.
bad. Dude,
Be
the offense
bad.
is pathetic.
Fix it. Do some.
Offense is pathetic.
Get good, as it were.
Well, I mean, there's reasons, but yeah.
All right.
Let's
Well,
get it right.
there you go, y'all. That's the first segment. So we're gonna.
Nope, we got baseball.
Nope.
Charles.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Charles is
Psych.
jumping in. We got playoff baseball started.
You guys, we
Everybody.
do in fact have playoff baseball. My condolences.
Yes, sorry, Chuck, to your Mariners not making it. But so let's start off with the AL.
I know you're paying. I know. I feel we're all sitting here. If I can play off less now, Townie just was eliminated. But
We all
I-
out.
at the first
Yeah.
game, right
I
after
was
the
out
first
before the
pitch, he
season
was
started.
eliminated. They
We were in the
designated
running.
him.
Yours was the
Oh,
best.
You guys
Yes.
fired your Trevor's Giants
You fired
the
your
manager.
fucking. I was gonna say your
Your capper.
skipper's gone.
Good.
Yeah.
People are pretty happy about that I know. All right. Number 6, Toronto Blue Jays are playing the number 3 Twins. I hope the Blue Jays get past that team. I had obviously picked the Blue Jays to go to the World Series in our picks, but I'd rather have the Blue Jays win than the Twins. You guys, any preference in that series?
I mean, yeah, all of our teams are out of it, so it's finding someone else to root for and watch.
I give a shit less about either of those teams, to be fair. If either one of them wins, fine. If either one of them loses, fine. Like, they're neutral teams in my eyes, if you will. I don't have any distaste for either.
Well,
But
what's
you-
his name
you
played
got a
shortstop for the Twins. He pulled that shit with the Giants and Carrera. Remember Carlos Carrera did all that
Carlos
stuff in the
yeah.
offseason and went back
Sure,
to the Twins.
Correa was all weird this offseason.
So that's why he gives me a little bit of a...
Okay.
So these teams don't do anything for you, but you still have a team you're watching for the playoffs? Or that you're
Overall?
rooting for, maybe?
No, once again, we touched this on a couple of other pods. No, at this point, it's all about who I don't want to see win.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha. No, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
the neutral team's fine, whatever. Let them advance, totally. It's the ones that it's like, dude, we don't want to see fucking Houston. We don't want to see LA. Like, I don't want to see some of these teams do it. I don't want...
And
in
it's-
Texas, at this point, I don't want to see anybody from the AL West. Like,
So whoever wins that Toronto
Minnesota.
Minnesota matchup plays the number 2 Astros. So winner gets the Astros.
Okay, so then I want whoever out of that.
So that's why I
yeah.
want Toronto.
Yeah,
and then
for sure.
the other
Fuck,
AL
that goes
matchup.
hard.
The other first round AL matchup is the number 5 Rangers going against the number 4 Rays.
Let's go TB.
I'm definitely
Let's go
a Rays
Rays.
fan. I'll root for Texas.
Let's go
for
Rays.
I
Wow.
hate- Oh, sorry, Trev.
Let's go Rangers.
I would rather for the Rangers.
You picked them to win the AL West. That's a drop in the hat for money right there.
But
Some Texas love.
But when they do win, whoever does win goes to Baltimore.
Oh,
So,
cooking. They cooking. That's probably my team. Okay, if I could say that there's one team that, because I thought they were only going to be a wild card. I didn't think that they were going to, win the AL East, but they were. They didn't smoke it.
I'm rooting for either the Orioles or Toronto. Toronto because of some of that young talent. I like watching them play.
I like Vladdy Jr. I think he's a good commissioner for the game. I think he's a good face of it.
And then I do love the Orioles. Is always a fun team to root for. Just because
I like anybody who upsets the balance and who isn't traditionally great, right? And they're not an evil empire.
Nope.
They're not the
the evil empire doesn't make it. This is like the first time in like multiple years that the Yankees, Red Sox, and the Cardinals haven't been in the playoffs.
Oh my God, that's true. None of those teams make. Wow.
Yep. Okay, so let's jump into the National League.
Good.
We got the number 6 D-backs going against the number 3 Brewers. Either team wins. I'm kind of rooting for either one. They're both kind of like those underdog teams, right?
Sure, but
I can't root for the D-backs.
Because the team they play is the fucking Dodgers next.
I like that logo from
Beat the
Brewers.
Dodgers.
That Brewers mitt logo is so dope.
It's so sick.
For that alone, I'm gonna give the Brewers. Okay. Whoever plays the Dodgers, spank them. Right. It goes back on the old adage of like anybody but the Dodgers.
The only reason I kind of root for the D-backs is because the Aces feeds the D-backs. So sometimes you get to see some of the talent.
Yeah.
All
right.
But then, see, I kind of wish the Phillies were up in that bracket so the Phillies could play the Dodgers. Because now on the other side, you get the Marlins playing the Phillies, and then the winner gets the Braves. And I'd rather see it be the Phillies and Braves.
Man, I like that whole trio kind of thing.
That's what I'm saying. I want somebody else.
I think the Braves are going to smack either one of those teams.
I'm a little nervous about the Braves starting pitching. And when you're playing in these series, when the Phillies have
all NL East. Oh, no, where's the
NL East? All 3.
Yeah, I could enjoy watching the Phillies and the Braves.
Because the Phillies are going to roll out Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, 2 studs. And the Braves, Charlie Morton just went down. Their kind of pitching staff's been kind of hurt towards the end of the season.
They got bats.
Yes. The Acuna, obviously, probably MVP of the NL.
I'm going to put my fucking hat on that. I'm going to hang my hat on that one if that one.
Golf.
That should have been.
Is there anything? What would the matchup be right now? If you could say, hey, I want it to be
World Series.
Yes, I want it to be blah blah and blah blah.
Listen to that.
Tell me who you got.
I really love this iteration of the Braves. I know that they got one not long ago. I really love the Braves out of the NL though for the teams that are there. And let's go O's out of the AL for sure. For sure the Orioles.
Yep. I'm with you there.
I'm rooting for. I kind of want the Orioles, but I'm really rooting for it to be Toronto.
You've been high on Toronto though for a couple of seasons.
I wanted to be Toronto and Philly for my pick of the pod, but I really wanted to be Toronto and the Braves because I love Matt Olson on the Braves and I love that whole way the team's been built. And the Braves did a marvelous job.
And Acuna has just been playing so fucking well. It would
40,
be good
70,
to see him get paid
40,
off.
70.
It's nice to see when the needle mover actually gets the win versus the guys like Mike Trout and Shohei who have been buried in LA.
And it sucks because then they're going to get buried again.
Yeah.
And Acuna missed it last time the Braves won.
They did. He was
out his knee.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, this could be his story right here.
Dude, between him,
he's trying to write it. He's most of the way through that book. He's trying to finish it.
My friend Olsen, dude, I'm rooting for them. Sean Murphy, another A's on that team. That I'm pretty high on the Braves, but that's our first segment. Next segment, we're gonna jump into this week's games. There were really some close ones. There's some other blowouts that. We'll go over, talk a little international, how we feel about that. So we'll see you guys.
Some NFL love, baby. Yeah. Let's go. We love that second segment.
We'll see you guys here in a little bit. Welcome back to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
What are we sipping on, Chuck?
Oh, this is delish. That's really good.
It's a Rodeo Red.
We show the can, Charles?
Yeah, that's good.
It's cool looking, old school looking can, kind of.
Got a Buck and Bronco. High Water Brewing. They make a lot of good beer at this brewery. I've had several. They make a campfire s'more.
I think I've had
brown, or it's a porter.
Have you had that brought that here?
No, we have not brought it here, but yes, no, I've had it. It is fantastic. I've had High Water on tap several different places.
Tastes like campfire.
Yeah, a little smoke. They're out of Lodi, actually. So shout out, that's just over the hill. Yeah,
nice.
That's not far from here. So this is an Imperial. Drinks at 8.5, and to be fair, it
tastes very nice.
It's a good drinker for 8.5.
Yeah. I think it does what a red wants you.
Oh yeah, look at the color on this thing.
It's
It's absolutely what you want. Like that's a red ale, baby. Like in between, it's above so below a brown and above what's the other one that you would give it in between? Not a lager, but
blonde.
We're
doing hair colors.
No, anyway, it is a great. It's got that copper amber. The amber. Thank you. That's what I'm thinking of. It's in between a brown and an amber is a red ale. So
I like reds.
Yeah.
I
enjoy.
I am a red. So solid fucking beer, High Water. Always. You make really good stouts. Really good. I've had some good sours from you. Like shout out. I didn't know you were from Lodi, so that's cool. Not too far.
Let's jump right into a review of this week. Man, there's some really close games. We're going to give a review in our fandom of what we see so far in the season of college football and pro football. But right now we're going to give a review of what we have coming up this week. Chuck, why don't you start off, Big Dog, with a okay Thursday night game?
It was a fantastic Thursday night gamer, to be fair, dude.
Dude, fucking Walker doesn't try to jump over the dude. That game maybe actually can get a little bit closer.
34-20 Lions over the Packers. In Lambeau, by the way. At one point, the Lions were they were damaging the Packers. It was like, is this game over?
Yeah, me too.
It was what, 17-3 or something of that nature? What was there was
Yes, at one point it was 17-3.
There was a point where it was just like, this is not good. 20-3 was it?
I mean,
it might have been 23 actually.
Something like that.
I think yeah.
Either way, the Lions bounced back. They've been, after their week 2 loss to the Seahawks, they've looked good in all of their other games. They looked good against the Seahawks, so we just had a couple of breaks go our way that game. That's the Any Given Sunday.
They have
a coach that believes. They have a team that believes. They have this Jameson Williams kid coming back who's supposed to be fucking good.
Suspension reduced.
Right, correct. And we lost him last year to injury and this year to suspension. So we've never really seen what the kid has to truly offer.
And he was electric at Alabama. I thought when coming out, if it wasn't for his injury, he would have been one of the top receivers.
Oh, he would have been. Absolutely. No, that was exactly, unfortunately, what they had to say about,
Hey, Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator for the Lions. How do you look in silver and black?
My boy's already looking for a new
coach. He's got the silver and blue. Oh, you're talking Hetty.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking come on over and be the head coach.
But honestly, overall, without getting into so Jared Goff had a pedestrian game. David Montgomery was a fucking animal in that game. But I do want to pull that up real quick. They got 3 tuds.
But I think
32 carries.
I think that's a beautiful thing about kind of that what the Lions got going is that sometimes they can do that where they just hand it to Montgomery and get and just kind of let those
coming
guys
off an injury too.
Dude, he banged.
They drafted Jahmyr Gibbs 12th overall, and they're not using him. They're not using him.
They used him last week because Montgomery. But this week what were their carries? Sorry, Chuck, I cut you off when you're
32 for $121 and 3 tuds.
I think Montgomery fits more the profile, the style that they want to be. They want to be a physical team, they want to pound that rock. They want to be
run through a motherfucker face.
The Niners, the Eagles. They want that physicality to their offensive and defensive game. That's the style of football I enjoy.
You want to bite kneecaps, bro.
Yeah,
Dan Campbell makes me want to play football, dude. He does. And for guys who can, I can totally understand why that is a motivated locker room. God damn.
Anything else we want? I mean, and the Packers come back.
I think the Packers are still pretty good. I don't think that this absolutely downgrades the Packers. I just think that the Lions, when they click and they can enforce their will, they can.
The Packers got to figure out their first half woes.
That is true. They are a slow starting team.
Whatever the fuck's
they are a slow starting team.
They need to, because then all of a sudden they make a comeback. If Walker doesn't jump that guy and they kick the field goal,
how dumb was that? Come on.
The Packers have a chance at one point. Dude, they were rolling the second half offensively.
Well, and part of that, I think, is injuries. They've had quite a few to key players.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Jones and, they just got back Watson. Those are probably their two most explosive offensive players.
And Bakhtiari's, I think, on the island.
Bakhtiari, he's done. He's never going to play another snap
That's
in Green Bay at this point.
Yeah, that's bad.
What game you got, Trev? Oh, before we start Trev's game. Trev's got an international game.
Yep. Guess what?
How do you feel about the international games in general? So I was thinking about it today. Like, in a couple weeks, we're going to get the Dolphins and Chiefs. Like, that game is pretty big. That game could have playoff implications.
It does. It already. What do you do?
Well, yes, it does.
Like,
but, like, I remember when the Raiders with Jack Del Rio, they were 12-4, and they had to have a home game in Mexico City, which, against a team, I don't remember who it was. It was a close game. A game that I think if we played in Oakland when we were still in Oakland at that time, it's a bigger win on Monday night. It's a close game. You got out with win. But I'm not a fan of this international games. I think it takes away from the home team that's getting screwed and losing one game, and it's taken away from that crowd. I know you're trying to build the sport, but I am not a fan of the international.
So for the international games, I like from Mexico. That's different. We're in the same time zones. Going to Europe, that's I think a bit different. In that, as a fan, I love it having an early game that I could watch before any other football is on. It's another primetime game almost. Unless you're a fan of that team, and then you're like, damn, we lost a home game to go travel across the country to some place that doesn't really know, either of these teams.
Also is playing in London again next weekend.
Is it Jacksonville?
It is.
Yeah, Tatum.
They are doing
What's that, soccer?
back-to-back weeks.
Tatum, I think.
No, Tottenham.
Thank you.
You guys,
I'm bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know. Trevor was saying. I was just following Trev.
you don't have to agree with him. He's
I needed help. I was trying to get there.
Tottenham.
But
Tottenham.
Tottenham.
Got it.
Yeah, you gotta say it like you're fucking English.
But it just so are you a fan, Chuck?
Of the international games?
Yeah,
no, absolutely not. I understood. Okay, so the reason why is because the regular season games are so few in the NFL.
Correct.
That's the part. The international games and other series, in like MLB, in basketball, you got 82 games a season. You got 162 games a season. You got all these games. You can totally spread that out. The home team doesn't feel gypped. The fan is like, I'm okay with 4 games, but like losing one game, you only get 8 home games a year. And when you are an NFL fan, dude, those are only 8 days in a year. Whereas you're talking 81 home games for an MLB team. Okay? Like, you see the ratio difference? Like, that's why I don't like it.
But
that's why I don't like it.
Even for the player, though, like...
Because you're not gonna do preseason over there because it's not gonna make enough money to justify a preseason.
Correct.
And you're not gonna do a preseason over there because it could still risk injury. It's still a full-fledged game. You can't play like an exhibition football game. Right. Their injuries happen at full speed football, period. Even if it's a friendly fucking game, something's gonna happen, right? You can't just do that. So it's gotta be a regular season, it's gotta be a meaningful game. But like, why? What is the end game?
Yeah,
Are we trying to establish a London team? Is that really what they're doing?
I hope
because
not.
Jacksonville is playing 2 games back to back, you guys. They're setting a precedent, right? Like, this is now moving in a certain direction. I think this is kind of a bigger topic, like, than it really is being talked about. Like, I'm okay with, I guess, an expansion, but to London?
Not to London.
Why?
Yeah.
It just doesn't geologically make sense. It doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
It's like Cal and Stanford playing in the ACC.
At least that's the same fucking country. You don't have to cross the fucking ocean every time you're playing an away game.
Right.
It's not every time. It's once a year, maybe. Now it's twice.
What I'm talking about is if there is a team in London, they either have to travel or somebody has to travel to them. There has to be a plane that crosses the fucking Atlantic every week.
That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense. That's what I'm talking about. As it sits right here, if they get the one game, the two, they're up to like 3 or 4 international games now. Now it's in Germany. Now it's like, it sucks.
We love football.
I know.
We want to share football.
I get that, but it's like,
shared over the TV.
it's just tough.
Trev, you got the game. Let's
fucking Manchester United doesn't come over to LA and play a fucking actual meaningful game over here. They play exhibition who gives a shit celebrity games. Very different. Like this is our soccer. This is our EPL. This is our Premier League. Like, don't you dare fucking leave the goddamn stadium that you play in. Ugh.
All right,
Downey,
Trev,
God damn it.
why don't you jump into it?
All right, so let's talk about that international game. It was a one-sided 23-7 game.
It was just kind of a pounding.
I mean, Jacksonville, this is almost their second home at this point with as many games as they're playing over there.
They have played multiple.
More than any other NFL team.
By a significant amount.
And then, they got 2 this year.
Back. Well, I guess that makes sense if you're going to play 2. But.
So, the Falcons they weren't ready. Ryder had a bad game. He looked bad. He looked real bad.
Are we ready? Are we ready for Heineke? No,
we know what Heineke is. We're going to I think they're riding the ship with Ryder, and then you make the decision next year.
To make that.
I bet you're going to ride the ship.
So if you just swallow it, you draft high, you get a quarterback in this year's draft kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay, not the worst thing ever.
Yep.
Okay.
Not a whole lot else from that game, though.
Yeah, there wasn't much. All right.
No, because Bijan didn't pop.
Bijan
there was no real.
Didn't Bijan go over 100?
Yeah, Bijan did have over 100, 105 on 14 carries, but
and he had some receptions.
ETN didn't really. Christian Kirk had an okay game.
No
Lawrence
tuds,
had
though.
an okay game. They're okay. It was okay. It wasn't
Okay.
anything good.
It was okay.
So I have the game that we picked as probably the game of the week. The Dolphins going to Buffalo. Well, they went and they got their butts kicked.
Well,
Josh Allen
Looked like a top 3 quarterback.
kicked some butt. He ended up
MVP right there. That was an MVP
it was an MVP.
performance.
21 for 25, 320, and 4 tutties in the air, and 1 tutty on the ground. 4 rushes for 17 yards. So not a lot of average on the running, but it was still a touchdown. So he had 5 total touchdowns. And then the Bills' defense dominated. They came out and shut down. Two is still threw for 282, but he had a pick and a tutty. But Tyreek Hill only had 58 yards. Waddle only had 46. So Buffalo basically came out and showed everybody that, hey, we're still the talk of the East.
Well, just also, by the way, like, we're not the Broncos.
Correct.
Good God, dude. Like, wow. Good job, Buffalo. Bad job, Miami. I think they just maybe feeling themselves a little too much kind of thing.
Maybe, but maybe it's kind of, Tua was kind of hassled. He wasn't able to get the ball out on time. And a lot of that stuff is on, like, he's like, that whole offense is an on-time offense.
Yep.
No real run game in that game as well for the Dolphins. So
it disappeared.
Yeah, so you weren't able to really do much with that. And without they have to have a run game to keep the
defense honest.
Yeah,
sure.
to keep the dogs at bay.
The dogs at
But good job, Buffalo, for sure. On to the next. We're going to... Okay, Battle of the 0-3s. And finally, somebody got a win!
Dude, it was an exciting game.
Hey, to be fair, it actually turned it out to be 31-28 Denver over Chicago.
Comes back.
First thing I was going to say I want to highlight is the scoring breakdown, right? 7-0 going into the second quarter. 21-7 Chicago going into half. And then they scored another touchdown before the Broncos answered to go up 28-7. But then the Broncos had 24 unanswered points to win 31-28.
Damn.
So it was an absolute game of runs. It was far more like an NBA game where it was like, it wasn't constant back and forth, but like swing, major swing back. Like, but Justin Fields had his best day, and it still wasn't a loss. 28 for 35, 335, 4 tuds, and a pick.
Pick was at the end of the game.
Huh?
Pick was at the end of the game too.
Big time. So it mattered. The pick that mattered. Russ had a good game stat wise overall. This is a Russ game. 21, 28, 223, but 3 tuds. So it's a solid game. Javonte Williams goes down. Not necessarily good for the Broncos offense moving forward. They already have a decent amount of injuries on that offense, but Chicago at least had a pulse. DJ Moore woke the fuck up. 8 receptions, $131 and a tud. So, somebody had to get a win. It was rather dramatic, to be fair. It was kind of good to see a good back and forth between both of these teams. Chicago, you're still bad. Denver, you're still bad. You guys just, played each other. Yeah, exactly. Good
Somebody
game
had to
between
win.
bad teams. Exactly, yeah. Good game between bad teams. On to the next.
On to the next. This game wasn't a good one. Baltimore 28, Cleveland 3. Deshaun Watson was out.
DTR starts.
Dude, what do you
and
guys
does
think
nothing.
about that little shoulder?
What happened? It came out of nowhere. Who
Shoulders-
heard about this? Who heard about this?
I heard about it during the week. He
Okay,
didn't
when?
throw it during the week.
He didn't throw during the week.
They
Okay.
talked about
I didn't hear about this during the week. Did you
shoulder
hear about this during the week?
soreness.
Not much. No.
Dude, it was a shock to me to see DTR was going to start.
No real impressive performances. The backup running back for Chubb, Ford, took like a backseat to Strong, so I'm sure some fantasy managers aren't pleased about that. Njoku is the lead receiver. He didn't do much. Andrews, I guess, finally played.
Yeah.
He woke up.
He looked like he
woke
was
up.
healthy finally. Got 2 touchdowns and 80 yards. But that game, there wasn't a lot to it. Cleveland's defense was a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, I expect
as far as that game went.
it was very.
I think that's
impressive.
another team that we shouldn't touch anymore this season. You guys are going to be so roller coaster. It's going to be so erratic.
Yeah.
Like
I thought that Cleveland.
I don't think there's any
defense was
consistency to
better.
them, and I
So
think
elite.
that's the scariest thing because they can light it up. They could still go out there
But-
and drop 35-40,
But
but
is this one of those things where you're going 3 and out, and your defense is on the field so long that
all the time.
you keep,
Oh fuck,
you
dude!
know what I'm saying?
I'm a
You just
Seahawks
get
fan. I watch
scores.
that way too often.
I would still expect a better performance at home.
Sure.
At home.
No, they got
You're supposed to have
handled.
one of the best defenses. You're at home and you
They got shook.
Give
dude.
up
They got
28?
shook. Yeah. Well, I mean, that can still be a
What was
relatively
the
competitive score.
scoring on that though? Where did they?
Lamar had a game.
So 7-14. They got 14 points in the second quarter.
Yeah, Cleveland scored early and that was it. It was over after the first. That's all the scoring they did was a field goal in the first. And
So
then
my game is
Baltimore
also
took that over.
blowout. I got the Texans blowing the balls off the Steelers. Steelers look bad. I don't think
Big
they're
takeaways. Pickett's hurt.
I don't think that offense has looked good. Even in the win against the Raiders, I didn't think it looked good. And now with Pickett being hurt, that offense maybe takes even
Big
another
news.
step
That-
back.
Yeah, absolutely. Trubisky ain't it. We know that.
They are not good offensively and defensively today. Just too much to being on the field. Too much. CJ went for 306, 2 tutties. But he was only 16 for 30. Like he just crossed that 50% completion percentage. Damian Pierce had 81 yards. He's been a real grab out of Florida. He's been a pretty good stud last 2 years. And then receiving Nico Collins, $168 with 7
Came out of
receptions,
nowhere. Yeah.
2 tutties. Nobody else really had any. Like Schultz had 3 catches. Robert Woods had 3 catches. So it was a lot of Nico and Schultz really. But yeah, not much there.
But
Steelers
shout out to the Texans, dude. They
Steelers
came
are-
out and looked flat
Yep.
week 1 and then come out and move some units over the last couple of weeks.
Steelers are in trouble.
Yes,
Yeah.
that I absolutely agree with as well.
I like that defense, but they're fading with that
I
offense.
have to say that I am impressed with the Texans on these last 2 weeks.
I have
think
been
they
too.
have played good football. Now, like,
Are they a great team? No, but a team that can begin to believe in itself, that plays good football, is scrappy, like we've seen in the Cardinals. We'll get into them a little later. My game, though, is Mini at Carolina, another matchup of 0-3 teams. I got both of them. Go figure, right?
How'd that happened?
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but Mini came out and actually won a game, 21-13. Bryce Young looked middling. Kirk Cousins didn't look that great. This is his worst game of the year.
Worst game of the year to start. He pulled it out.
Vikings had to come back.
They sure did. Yeah, no, the Panthers were up a good while. They were up 13-0, and then 13-7, and then and then it went to Minnesota turned it on. They have a better team. They should have won this game. It shouldn't have been competitive.
All Minnesota games are just fucking close. Every single Viking game is going to be close. I have now decided that I don't think Minnesota is that. I didn't think they were that good to be. I knew they were going to take a step back. I had a feeling.
Yeah, the offense isn't bad. The
I had a
defense
feeling.
is not there at all.
Yeah, and Kirk Cousins,
Kirk Cousins is balling. It ain't his fault.
He was mediocre today.
Today he was not. That's true. That is very true. But okay, let's not dive. There's nothing really, honestly, to mention here, you guys. Bryce Young went over 200 yards. Woo. Chuba Hubbard had 41 yards. Thielen had 76. Justin Jefferson had 85 and 2 tubs. Finally fucked it up. Yeah, finally fucked one up.
He forgot.
I forgot about him entirely, which is even worse. Callback. Dude, that was like pod 7 or 8.
Dude, it's still, you forgot the number one receivers in the league.
No, that was a little later, because I think that happened in his garage. I think that was like pod 14, 15.
It happened, it did
It
happen.
did happen, though. Not tonight.
Don't know really much about what Minnesota's going to be.
They're bad. No, these are bad teams. Move on. Let's go to the next game. These are bad teams.
All right.
On to the next.
Next game was maybe the game of the week. The only overtime game we saw.
Came back, dude.
You guys have, unfortunately on this, I've put it on wax. I've been high on the Rams ever since they smacked Seattle week 1.
I've been telling you for the Rams.
We both gave them more wins in the.
I was the low. I'm sorry. I was the low.
Man,
Dude, the Rams' offensive line is going to be the death of that team, dude. Stafford limping again today. Sorry, Chad, but Stafford's limping around. And last week he took so many shots against Cincinnati, but go for it, T.
I mean, Stafford, he only threw for 1 touchdown, but 319 yards, 27 for 40. Puka Nacua, though, man.
Rookie of the year. Rookie of the year.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely in the leader house.
Him and Stroud right now are going to be your 1-2.
I
think
game-winning catch, dude.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. He's the one that got that 22-yard pass.
He's rewriting records, too, as far as, rookies. So, he's really on a historic pace, which is fucking impressive.
Led the team in receiving, 9 receptions, 163 and a touchdown.
What's it going to look like when Cooper Kupp comes back?
He's practicing.
How are they going to share the ball? They run the same routes. They're the same dude. We're going to find out next week. They're the same receiver.
Well, I don't think he might. I don't know if he's playing next week, but he's practicing.
It doesn't matter. When he comes back, what are they going to do?
Oh, they're just going to have 2 options of some sick-ass shit.
Sick-ass
Well,
Sean McVay's a good coach.
Another part of that, though, I think, is the Rams getting the run game back, too. It kind of disappeared last week. This week, it came back with Williams. They were more committed to it, and that's what they need for their offense to be successful.
They looked off in Cincy.
Yeah.
I watched that. They did not look...
Well, they were missing both tackles. They couldn't, and they couldn't
that doesn't help.
And they couldn't run the ball, but they were missing linemen, dude. I think this year right now, we'll talk about it in fandom, but yeah, never mind. Keep going, Chad.
The only thing that else I was going to point out from that game is Richardson. He wasn't bad as far as numbers go, but I don't know. He seemed like he was still not 100%.
Well, he was barely 50% throwing the ball.
That's what he's going to be.
But he was electric running the ball.
That's not help. That's him. That's what you drafted. You knew that's what you were putting out on the field.
Shane Steichen is, and I think Shane Steichen is going to be a great coach like Dayball, and I think you're seeing some of the Shane Steichen effect in Philadelphia, which we'll get to a little bit.
Scrappy, dude. They're scrappy. The Colts have been fighting. That's all you can hope for when you look at a roster and you're like,
and yeah, that comes from
not a lot of talent.
I think that comes a lot from a head coach too.
I do too. I agree. I was just going to add on that both the coordinators that the Eagles lost are turning out to be better coaches than I thought they were going to be early on. With the teams that they got.
I thought Shane Steichen was going to be a stud of a coach. With the Colts.
I had my reservations with how I
no
don't trust their owner.
And Irsay is a fucking monster, yeah. And not in a good way.
So I got one of the games we won on the card this week. The other game we haven't seen, and then one of the games we lost on the card. I took Tampa Bay, which has been a surprising team, I think, this year. At 3-1 now.
Sure.
Trouncing the Saints, 26-9. The Saints have no offensive line. They cannot block for Carr. It is bad news up front. Baker Mayfield's been playing out of this world, man. It was 3-0 Saints in the first quarter, and then from there on out, it was all Bucks 14 in the second quarter and 12 in the fourth quarter to get the win. Baker threw for 246, 3 tutties and a pick. Goodwin had a great game, 8 for Buck 14. Godwin, had a great game, 8 for $114. Mike only had 3 for 40. Mike
he got
Evans.
hit. He went out with a hammy.
But yeah, the Saints struggle. Carr was 23 for 37, but his yardage was only 127. He only averaged
127 yards
on
3.4
yards
on 23 completions. He only had 120.
Dude, the Saints' offensive line, what I've seen of them,
yards.
Dude, that's the downfall of this team right now. They cannot fucking block.
Well, and they also don't have a head coach. Dennis Allen ain't the dude.
So what team you got there, Charles?
I have an excellent game. I watched this whole game because a buddy of mine who's a big Eagles fan came over today, and it was 34-31 Philly coming over the Commandors.
Another
in OT. Yeah, this
man.
was as far as like the actual football was the game of the week, I would say. Just like the flow of the game, the competitiveness, like division rivals, like Washington coming back after getting smacked in the mouth last week by Buffalo, like to go on the road to Philly. Like, and Sam Howell led a fucking game-tying fourth quarter drive with like nothing left on the clock, dude. He looked like a quarterback. Like, now that offensive line for Washington, Fletcher Cox is a man amongst boys, dude. He had a couple of plays where he just moved their line. Like, Washington's got to work on their offensive, but their defensive line looked great today. They look like the Washington of old on defense. Like, I know they gave up 34 points still, but they were harassing Hurts. Like, overall, it was a great game.
Hal's had some bright spots though.
He's had some low spots too, but
Higgins and Ryder though, like I see more with him. I think.
I do too.
But 25 for 37, 319 and 2 for Jalen. So yeah, he finally stepped up a little bit. DeAndre Swift came back to earth. AJ fucking Brown had himself a game. 9 for $175 and 2 tuds. So that was Jalen's guy today for sure.
Dude, he's a stud.
Yeah, I mean, pedestrian on Washington. 29 of 41 for 290 and a buck when they come and a touch for Sam Howell. So no interceptions, no turnovers. So played a good game over there.
Because he had 4 picks last week.
You're right. So solid effort, good division game. Very, very hard to predict. Washington covered the spread. I definitely picked that part because the Eagles were favored by like 8.5 going into that game, so they had to win by 9.
Yeah, too many points.
Too many. One of those games. But the Niners fucking covered their 14 real easy. We'll get to that, obviously. Pish posh. Philly. I think they are a good 4-0. I think that
it's been a close 4-0.
I think the San Francisco 49ers are the more dominant
by.
They could have easily have lost all
a couple
4
of them.
All 4
sure.
of the games.
Oh, definitely this one.
But they're pulling them
No,
out.
they handled many. I mean, you can call the fumble out of the end zone for a touchback, a non-traditional football swing. Anyway, like Eagles still 4-0, beating the teams in front of them, but
One of the 2 4-0 teams left.
Correct.
All right, let's move it on to another snooze fest.
Well, this was a pod pick.
Still have to talk about it. 'Cause
I
was a
gotta
pod
talk
pick.
about it. I mean, after
We got to
the
eat crow on this
Bengals
one, you guys.
played St. Louis, I was like, all right, well, I think St. Louis is better than Tennessee.
You mean LA.
Oh, god damn it. Did that again.
To be fair, I think the Rams should be back in St. Louis and the Chargers should be in San Diego. They should have just expanded.
We're just
LA.
manifesting it.
Anyways,
We're gonna get you back, you boys.
that game, like, the Bengals,
Dude,
they
they're
don't.
bad.
Burrow isn't Burrow, and they don't have a run game, so that offense
They
is
have no
just
offensive
suffering.
line. Dude, they have no offensive line.
It's suffering. Yeah, how is that offensive line so bad? They spent they tried
The last
they spent
2 seasons.
the last 2
they've-
seasons trying to get it right, and it's still bad. Oh man, on the other side though, you got Derrick Henry throwing touchdowns. I mean, come on.
27-3, ugly.
It
Ugly
was.
AFC game.
The Bengals are tough right now, dude. A 1-3, dude. That season might be
They're
on.
they're in a free fall mode.
That season might be on its way down the drain.
It might be on life support, especially in that division.
It was why I didn't draft Burrow. I was really nervous about that calf and his ability to come back at 100% so quickly.
And he can't throw the deep ball because he doesn't have enough time.
He
with that
can't
offensive
wind
line.
it. He can't wind it up at all. Like between his own ailment and then like you just commented on the offensive line, it's not good in Cincy. It's not. It is not. It's not like they've been battling and in games. They've looked bad in their losses. They beat the Rams at home. Other than that,
Browns
they've
game
looked
was
bad.
bad. This Tennessee game was bad.
Yeah. No.
Bengals look to be an early season disappointment. Like,
Sure.
The way that it's looking, they're going to miss the playoffs. And that's something I don't think anybody was saying at the beginning of the season,
Heck no.
even with the injury.
Right.
So I have another blowout game where the Cowboys come back to form and absolutely pop the Patriots. They sat Mac Jones, put Bailey Zappi, and I don't know if that's because of how bad the beating was or what. I think that we all believe that the Cowboys are one of the better teams in the league and probably should be 4-0. I know last week they had 3 offensive linemen out, but 3-1, they handle business. Nothing much really to talk about in this game. So let's just jump to the next one there.
Really?
Charles.
We don't. Okay. All right. I mean, yeah, I don't want to give no love to the Cowboys neither. Like,
Well, I mean, they dominate the Patriots.
They are a good team. The Patriots are not very good. I don't think, regardless of who the quarterback is, New England, they're gonna have a good season.
But somebody popped that game. I think I scored 38 points, right?
Well,
Okay, so I'm gonna hit
Well,
the
you have,
Sunday.
like-
I'm gonna hit the Sunday nighter because the next 2 are your guys' games because I get to finish with mine then.
Yeah, well, I mean, hold on. Check that. No, because Pollard
No,
only had
really
47
good.
yards rushing.
You're right.
Prescott only had 1 throwing touchdown, 261.
So no big time performances.
Yeah,
Even in that beatdown.
yeah. Well, it was 2 picks.
Well, means the defense did it.
Yeah, 2
which
picks.
is good.
Yeah, 2
That's
picks.
what you need out of Dallas.
Yeah, the guy that replaced Diggs, I think, got a pick 6.
Yeah,
so
so
that's good to see if you're a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
I think it's clear to say that the Cowboys' offense is going to be underwhelming unless Dak and CD figure it out. Pollard is good, but apparently he can't be RB1 just yet. I don't know. I was higher on him coming into this year, and
I
he's been
think he
fair.
needs somebody else back.
I guess so.
Spell.
I don't know if it's game plan, game calling. They did lose Kellen Moore to the Chargers. But the Cowboys' defense, top tier. Their offense is middling, right?
Chuck,
Like-
well, why doesn't Trev go? Then I'll go. Then you can do
No.
Sunday. So we can
All right.
stay.
Do you want to hit your game then first? Because
Yeah, we'll have both of ours. Then you can
All
do
right,
Sunday.
all right.
Just so we stay kind of in that.
Okay.
in the
Why
time
not?
zone.
Yeah, the order.
So 49ers
Some afternoon
35,
games.
Cardinals 16. Cardinals, though, they've been that scrappy team. I've got to give them some credit. They are
We thought they were
battling
gonna
more
roll
than
over.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be a rollover this year, and they have not been that.
They battled, dude.
Yeah, they are battling, and that's good to see. I think that's what you want to see if you're a fan of that team right now. You know you're not competing for a playoff spot, but you see that the coach got the players playing.
Yep, playing
And
for
you're
the-
competitive even though you're not a great team. And I think that's all you can really ask for at that point for the Cardinals.
I agree.
Christian McCaffrey's a monster.
Christian McCaffrey.
MVP right now this season.
Boy, oh boy! I wish I would have put him for MVP because damn.
Right now, he's probably got to be up there.
Yeah, he definitely is. It's been all beautiful. I mean,
Well, because there's really not a quarterback who's really blown the doors off, right? Like
Tua maybe, but until today.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And then at home, and then like you guys said, Josh Allen had that game, the first game where he had the picks, and then since then he's been lights out. So he needs more of the lights out,
more
less the
consistency
picks.
for sure.
So as of the first quarter, I would say Christian's got to be.
Yeah, in this game, he had 20 carries, 106 yards, 3 touchdowns rushing, 7 receptions, 71 yards, another touchdown receiving. I mean, since joining the 49ers in this trade, 20 total touchdowns in 18 games. He's 14-1 in the regular season, winning 14 of the games that he's played with the Niners since they acquired him. 13 straight games with a touchdown is a franchise record. Are arguably the greatest midseason trade in the history of the NFL, made last year by the San Francisco 49ers. And then we have Brock. Rock out with your Brock out. I mean, he was 20 for 21. He missed one pass for 283 yards and a touchdown. This guy,
his touchdown was Christian McCaffrey.
Yes. Yes. His completion percentage over expected today against the Cardinals is plus 28%, the highest mark by a quarterback with at least 20 pass attempts.
Well, yeah, what is that? 97%, 96%?
Yes.
What is 20 out of 21?
28 out of
20 out of 21
Do
is
the quick maths.
96. 9 quick maths. Plus 2. See you girl on the block.
95.
That girl is Marcus.
It's just, it's crazy. I mean, they scored over 30 points again, 35 points. The offense is rolling.
Okay,
the defense
so let's
wasn't its best game, but
let's reassess. So the Niners, is the Rams the best team you've played? Because the Steelers, we have now established Steelers are not very good, right? Now, week 1 is a crazy week, but you went out there and you handled them very, very good. Then you had the Rams week 2, right?
Yes.
And the Rams were in it up until the last little bit, but then you ended up closing that door pretty good. And then who did you have last week? The Giants. And then the Cardinals. So I would say
not a great
opponent
yet. I mean,
you do have
Sunday
Philly,
we find
you have
out.
Dallas. Yeah, there it is.
Sunday night, Cowboys.
All right, so
measuring stick comes out.
You have beaten. Pull it out there, smack it on the table like a gavel. You have beaten the teams that you're supposed to, right? So that's always nice. You have looked dominant against these teams, pretty much. But yes, I would say coming into this week, you're in Dallas. Is that in Dallas or is that in Levi?
I think that might be in Levi. Let me double check.
We're gonna obviously retouch on this game, in our preview of the week, but
just a minute. Week 5. And that's right. It's at the top because they're my favorite. But yes, it is in Santa Clara, so at home.
That's huge. I think Brock Purdy going to Dallas versus Brock Purdy at home. Dak going to San Francisco versus Dak at home. Like that game in Dallas versus that game in San Francisco, or Santa Clara rather, is different, I would say. But then the other game of the week then is the Chargers Raiders, right, Zach?
Yes, and it was offensive line played like shit.
Aiden O'Connell
goes out there. Story right there, though.
Aiden O'Connell actually played okay. He had 24 for 39.
I can't believe they gave him number 4.
Under duress.
I can't believe they gave him number 4. Like,
under duress all
game.
For it? Under duress all game, 238. Jacobs actually looked a little bit better, 17 for 58. But he had 8 receptions for 81 yards. Devontae had 8 for 75. The Chargers Herbert only was 13 for 24 for 167. Khalil Mack was just all over.
Oh my God.
With 6 sacks.
6? He ended up getting to 6?
Yeah. And the running game, 65 yards by Kelly.
That has to be the most in like recent memory, right? In one game. When's the last time that's happened?
And then penalties were the downfall again for the Raiders. You had hits out of bounds on Herbert, which is just stupid. The guy got kicked out of the game.
How many more weeks does McDaniels make it?
I don't know. And you know what's the most pathetic thing is he's supposed to be an offensive coach. That's 17 points again. We don't score. How are we an offensive team? The weapons on that team, you should be scoring more points.
Yeah, you have definitely more weapons on the offensive side of the ball, and the score is not enough.
Yep.
I mean, I was early on this thinking that the Raiders coach should be fired, but I really don't think that he's going to get fired until the end of the season.
I don't either. All right, Chuck, what do we got for Sunday night? Actually, a very interesting game.
Yeah, we touched on it live a little earlier in the pod, 23-20. You know, I thought KC was going to roll it, so they clearly didn't cover the spread.
9.
But yeah, I think it was another 8.5. So New York getting scrappy, staying competitive. A holding call on Sauce Gardner that negated a third down stop with 4 minutes left. That then after that, Kansas City was able to bleed out the rest of the clock.
Yep.
It was a holding call, you guys. Sala could have been pissed as he wanted, but Sauce had his fucking arms all up in everything.
All up on
yeah,
it.
he was bear hugging
him.
his ass. Yeah, dude, it wasn't unnoticeable. But surprising game by the Jets overall. To be fair, I think it also. I mean,
especially how it unfolded too.
Right.
And coming back, I would have figured if they went down early, they just throw out the towel.
Right. Yeah. No. So, I mean, you got to win the dirty ones. So Chiefs get it done again. Like those are the games that even when it's like, well, shit went wrong. Well, we won. So you at least hang your hat on that because they are the competitive team. They need to win more than the Jets do because the Jets are going to be fighting for a top 5 pick as this season wears on.
Mahomes had some bad picks tonight.
He had one that was real bad. Yeah, he definitely was gifted this win in other scenarios, but 23-20, So that was week 4, man. Pretty well. Other than obviously the preview is from my Monday night. Let's go Hawks. We're playing the Giants. Saquon Barkley is doubtful to play. We're missing like 2 or 3 corners. The points swung so far on that one. That line opened at Giants minus 1.5. It swung all the way over to Seahawks 1.5.
Really?
Yep. It was a 3-point swing and it swung teams. So yeah, dude, we put the Hawks on the pod bet because we got them at a pick'ems when we bet it because we bet it so early last week. But I really do think that the Seahawks should beat the Giants. If the running game takes another step forward, we got to find a way to. JSN hasn't even gotten going in that offense. DK's looked good. Tyler's been fucking sweet feet. He's that safety valve for Geno. Sweet feet, baby. Dude, he's got toe drag swag like you wouldn't believe, dude. That guy is so fucking good. A shout out to Tyler Lockett. So let's go Hawks, and we're gonna take a break and then come back with week 5. 5. It's moving too quick.
Cheers.
NFL, you're moving too quick. I love you so much. Don't leave.
We'll see you after the break. All right, let's bring it back. Let's get a little update, or not an update, a preview of next week's games coming in at you. Chuck, why don't you start off with the Thursday night?
Week 5. So Thursday nighter, unfortunately, goes back to a very mediocre matchup. It doesn't mean that they can't be good football, but it doesn't spur public interest right off the bat. Chicago Bears are visiting the Washington Commanders. No, it's not. The Chicago Bears are visiting the Washington Commanders. Currently, the line is set at Washington is being favored by 6. I'm not touching this game. I think that Justin Fields finally had a game that gives him some confidence moving forward, so maybe he can translate that into FedEx Field. You can go into FedEx Field and play well. You can get a good game there. Washington Commanders. God, I want to call them the football team, and I want to call them the Redskins. I almost called them both before I said the Commanders, but the FedEx Field is not the most intimidating place. I hope that DJ Moore and Justin Fields can continue that connection because I think both of those kids are talented and it'd be nice to see that.
However, I do think this season there has been a better home field advantage for them. I think just losing that owner has got their fans going again.
I would not disagree. I would say that they're scrappy. Other than that Bills shellacking that happened last week, but that's... You're going to have bad games, and you had a bad game against a good team, too, right? So they're going to really whoop on you. But Sam Howell played well today. We just touched on that. So,
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the game for Howell and Fields.
Yep.
Moving forward, this could really point at their teams and how they're going to go this season.
Dude, because you lose this game, right? You're 0-5. What fucking quarterback are you taking?
Yep.
You better start looking now because that's 5 losses. You ain't winning the next fucking 12 to go 12-5. That ain't happening.
Howell's not in as bad of shape, but he's still up and down. If he can find some consistency, this could really
Solidify
push
him too. Yeah.
him into a future starting role.
even if he loses, let's say Chicago does win, but Howell throws for 350 and 3.
Even if he loses, because their record isn't as important as his progression, because then you'll know if you have that guy.
I like that thought
going
process,
forward.
given the team and where they're at.
Yep. But I think this is a Bears team that loses this one, and you're 0-5.
There's not a matchup you're going to take the Bears to win now. There's just not.
Are you firing the coach through the season?
Eberflus has got to get fired. Right?
And then, dude, are you going to stop hiring
Clear
defensive
house.
fucking coaches and get a goddamn offensive coach? I know you went and had what's his name.
They're archaic. The Bears are archaic.
But you did did have Nagy with Trubisky, and that didn't go well.
Well, I mean, they've tried offensive coaches, but defense has been the persona of that team. So I it's not that I didn't understand the hire, but it just doesn't seem to be working.
No.
So I'm thinking a whole fire sale. We're going to get rid of the coach, the quarterback, the GM. It's going to be a fresh start.
All right, so
Which is so crazy because, man, I thought this was gonna click, dude. I thought
know.
this year they'd made the right moves. They were signing the right guys. They were doing the
I like
right
some of the
things.
moves too.
I just was like, damn.
It all looked like the momentum. It was thinking like you should be like 2-2 right now, kind of thing. 3-1, not fucking 0-4 with staring down the barrel at 0-5.
So we got another international game. Trev, why don't you jump on top of that little song?
I guess who's playing there?
So we got
Jaguars.
our Jaguars staying over across the pond, as they say.
Across
Against
the pond, as they say.
I mean, how much trouble do you think them boys are getting in over there?
I
They got
mean,
a week
I would
free
have
in
some
London,
fun, I
bro.
tell you
I
what.
would get in so much trouble out there.
It could be dangerous.
Oh my god!
You got the Bills having to travel over after their nice win this
Oh,
week.
they're going home sleeping well though. They get
yeah.
a nice rest week going into London though.
Still
Feeling
that
good.
travel when
It's a thing.
the Jags aren't traveling,
they're
and
chilling.
that's already their second home.
Yeah, but they got a lot of
That could
booze
be-
in their blood by that point.
could
They
be a
drinking
closer
out their
game.
English ales. They call it a breakfast stout for a reason.
We'll see if the Bills can keep up with the
If the-
offensive consistency.
If the Bills put a spanking on the Jags, it's going to be quite the opener of the.
I think that's more.
likely,
Yes, thank you.
just the way the Jags have looked, we all
Correct.
expected the
And
Jags
the
to
Bills.
be
I think
better.
the pendulums are swinging in two different directions for those teams. I think that there's the uptake for the Bills are starting to swing this way, and the Jags are arcing down, dude.
I don't know. I think
Even
the Jags
after this
really
win.
just been sitting kind of
Just
haven't moved.
albatrossing and
Yeah,
Nobody
you haven't
touched
really
their
seen that.
pendulum.
You haven't really seen that offensive explosion that we've been thinking that we were going to see.
no. But the defense has been weird, good, some games, other. It's just been really weird. They've been a weird team. They have potential still. No, could they win this game? Sure, absolutely. I'm not saying that they're not the Cardinals. That roster, there's talent. That roster can win games. It's just I think
haven't really
momentum has a
been their
lot to
best.
do with it. I do know that they won the game and they're staying over. That's a lot. They won the game and they're staying over there. So,
Maybe
but
this is where they build that momentum.
Do you
This would
think
be a big
that
game.
might hurt because they get a little braggadocious?
This would be a big game for them to win too.
I don't think you could
They
be
would
too
really get to
braggadocious
hang their
at
fucking
2-2.
hat on it if they take down Buffalo though. That would be
Could be a
statement.
swing.
Would be a
That
statement.
momentum swing.
Pendulum.
Pendulum.
The next game we have to talk about is the Titans and Colts. It is a only pick'em game. It's Indy's given one in that game. It's what team are you going to see from each team? It's what you're going to see the Titans team from this week. You're going to see the Titans team from last week. Are you going to see the Colts team of the first half or the Colts team of the second half?
Yeah, just
This
a lot
is
of
such a
inconsistency.
weird team, or weird game for both
Both
teams.
I don't, and they're AFC South
South.
rivals. So
Each
yeah,
2
they
and
play
2.
each other all the time. No, this is stay away from this game.
Each
Dude.
is 2 and 2.
So
as well.
unpredictable. It could be a runaway on either team. It could be an absolutely close game. Like there's no needle on this one. Like there's no way on this one. To be fair, Anthony Richardson, he's healthy, right? He left this game healthy, so
Yes.
he's definitely going into this week of practice as the assured starter.
Yeah, I think this is probably the game I avoid the most.
Oh my god, dude! I don't even know. I don't know these two teams. These two teams aren't going to be playoff teams. They're nice stories right now. They've won a couple of games. Like both of those teams are not going to venture out and do anything meaningful. I don't think anything in the AFC. They're going to have to win an AFC South. There will be the Jags will probably still
They're 2 and 2 as
maintain
well.
right, but I still think they're the best roster in that division.
I mean, yeah, all those teams are 2 and 2 right now.
Yep.
Mm.
What game we got next?
Houston.
Charles.
Houston, I'm just.
Or it might be a game we're betting.
Dude, we're gonna read that one off. All right, so next up, oh man, I get to touch on the Saints and the Patriots.
This is a mundane fucking game.
I mean,
Even though I might take the Patriots in a
these
bet.
are two teams that are very let downish right now. They both, I thought, coming into the season could have had some sort of potential. We all knew that New England was old and slow, and that they, but they had. I still think Belichick is a relatively good head coach. He could have pulled something together.
I think he's on the hot seat.
Hot. I don't think Kraft fires him, but this is New England -1.5. The only reason is because they're at home. Neither one of these teams blows my skirt up. I don't want to touch this game. Like, yeah, I go.
Saints have no offensive line, so I think the Patriots being at home with that
Feed off of that.
way the
They
defense
do have a pretty good defense, and
It didn't play well today, but that could have been because they were on the field for so long.
Yeah, I kind of like the lean there. I could see the Patriots winning this game. The Saints, I would have thought going into the season that they would be the better team.
God,
but
I
they
sure
just haven't
did.
looked like it at this point.
And Kamara's supposed to come back.
He did come back today.
Right.
No offensive line play.
Yeah, that's what the
Isn't
missing
it
piece.
funny? Isn't it funny though that like we devalue the interior line? Well, okay, try to throw a pass. Okay, hand the ball off and open up a hole for a running back.
Yeah, the most disruptive pass rush is right up the middle.
Dude, Aaron Donald will fuck your whole game plan up over and over and over again, not just once. Yeah, Jalen Carter, talk about defensive rookie of the year right there, dude. That kid has looked like the pick right there so far.
Anything else for that?
No.
Moving along to another division matchup.
Yeah.
There's no line for this game yet. The Ravens and the Steelers.
Steelers bad.
Ravens are going to win this game. It's just what the line is, right?
Correct.
That's what we really have to wait for. We're going to be pro Raven, but if it's like 7, 8.5, what do you do there?
I don't. The Ravens or the Steelers' offense is bad. Pickens
Right. No, we've established that.
But this is a division game. It's in Pittsburgh.
Yes. It's,
Okay, that matters. TJ Watt's a fucking animal.
I don't know if you can go over 7.
No, I don't think you can at all. I don't know if you eat
is
5.5,
one of those scrappy
maybe, and you 5.5 maybe would make
It's
you
either
question it.
it's either close or the Ravens blow them out.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
It could get ugly. Lamar could
Steelers
absolutely
can make it ugly.
If
But
Lamar just tipsy toes all over the
But he
fucking
hasn't
Steelers.
been. I mean, even today with the win, they still didn't have no yardage.
No, you know.
Well, we'll see. I mean, another week with Andrews, and we'll see what else. That offense.
Zay
of the
Flowers can
Ravens-
still pop. Like he had a schmedium game.
That offense though still needs to really come together.
They need a running
different
back.
pieces.
They need a running back to make that system chug, and they don't have one.
That was
Gus Edwards
that's
is
been a big
good.
loss.
Justice Hill is good. They have good backs. Even J.K. Dobbins, I've been a proponent of him, and he's still only been upgradedly good, and he's been unhealthy the last 2.5, 3 seasons. That system only works if Lamar has a running back on his hip that you fear, right? Because otherwise, yes, Lamar's legs are a thing. But if it's his arm and his legs, but without that running back that he can hand it off to, that you're like, holy shit, dude, this guy is a game breaker too. That's what makes it work. And they don't have one. They haven't one even close.
I mean, just since you bring it up, is there someone you think they should bring in? I mean,
Well,
there's
I
not
don't-
a lot
I mean-
of free agents left. You got Fournette, but I don't know if he's
No,
that guy.
no.
I think it would have to be a trade. If
Right.
they were to go
But who would
upgrade.
even be there in the running back market? Maybe Mixon
It needs
out
to be more
of
of a He
Cincy.
needs to be more of a draft
Maybe
pick.
maybe Najee out of Pittsburgh. Give him a fresh start. There are guys that are talented that maybe you could wiggle out of teams for a little less,
But
but
Pittsburgh's not
the
gonna
running
trade
back.
the
what
Ravens.
about-
But you're not getting McCaffrey. You're not
What about
there's-
Taylor from the Colts?
Ooh, hey!
But the rumor is that
Hey.
nobody's even close, to.
Well, because Irsay's a fucking idiot. We talked about this earlier. He needs to get more. He needs to get something out of him because Taylor's never wearing that,
I
that
want a
Colt on his
First round pick that
helmet.
I don't think my running back is worth. But that would be a trade. I think that would definitely be a
Okay,
shift.
that's the one. That is the one then that you could or maybe I guess Josh Jacobs if you just don't think that if the Raiders are we
they're
can
on
get something out of
trying
him if
to-
we're gonna rebuild kind of thing.
Yeah, that's another player definitely to throw in the ring.
Dalvin Cook, now that the fucking Jets are sinking ship, you could probably get him for low.
True.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
those are all guys that are definitely available. I think if for the right price, of course.
Got to get somebody for Lamar. It's the only way that system works.
It definitely, I would. Yeah, I mean, I thought the Ravens would still be better even without J.K., but I think that would be the difference maker for that offense. Do we have anything else on that game, or we want to move it along?
I'm moving along.
Jump right into the Texans
Jump it.
going into
We
the
jump.
Falcons. I think we're high on
I'm
this game.
so betting this game.
Atlanta
Please
giving
let me
2.5.
Yeah, let's go
taking
Texans.
Houston to cover. This is a big game. And I mean, I think every game for Ritter is big, but I think this is another team that's looking to see if Ritter can't do it, then who we taking next year, along with some of these other teams, as in who were we just saying?
Dude, if you got Caleb
The
Williams
Bears.
into Atlanta, I don't think they're going to be first
Or
overall.
Penix.
Or Penix. Dude,
Depending
if you had
on-
somebody who could sling the rock in that fucking in that team with them
Is
weapons,
this an overhaul too of new coach, new quarterback, or is Arthur
I
Smith
think
staying?
Arthur Smith is a good coach. I
I
don't
do
think
too.
he's necessarily the
Yeah,
problem.
they haven't shit the bed. They've been competitive.
Sure.
For that division, they've just been missing that quarterback.
The piece. I mean, you can't, that's gonna happen, man. That's gonna happen.
Man, and on the other side, Stroud, we both were high on him being maybe the best
I was.
quarterback of the class. Or was it you?
No, you were. That
It
was Charles.
it was me.
Yeah, it was me. You
I'm sorry, I
goddamn right
confused
it
you.
was me. I was
Not
like,
me.
no, I was very high on Stroud.
I was not.
I know. I mean, so far though, I mean, it's looking good. The growth he seems to be.
Maturing.
Yes.
Just fine. I mean, it's 4 games in, but dude's 300. He's averaging 300 a game. That's pretty fucking impressive for anybody, especially a kid who's supposed to be coming in and supposed to be struggling, right? You're okay with a little bit of struggle as long as
His
you
last 2
see-
games been good. His first 2 were not.
Yeah, but the last 2, it looks like he's putting it together.
Yes, which is nice for the Texans, right?
Yes, very much so. They're very scrappy, dude. I think that they cover this. I think that they cover this. So I think that they win this game. I think that Stroud is playing better than Ryder, so give me the quarterback because the matchup of everything else around them, like, although Atlanta has a lot of Pitts is. How did he go 4th overall? How did Kyle Pitts go 4th overall?
He's been very disappointing.
Very disappointing. Pitts.
And I don't know if it's just the quarterback or if it's like him in general.
The quarterback can't help because he hasn't really had a solid one down there.
A little bit of both.
Chuck, you got the next one there?
Let's go. Let me open this bitch.
Open her up.
We talking about the Panthers at the Lions. The Lions are laying 8.5. They are favored by 8.5 points, gentlemen. They got to win by 9 at home against the Panthers. Rawr.
Which I think
battles of the aggressive kittens.
I think they could do that.
I think so too. I mean, I don't think. I mean, the way that the Panthers have played thus far, they're a little slower to catch the Lions at this point. The Lions seem to be a lot further along. It's just how much do they win by? Can they
cover the?
Can they get that backdoor cover, or is the Lions just going to run away with this game? The way the Lions are playing, I kind of like the Lions there. I just think they're going to out-physical the Panthers, and then it's just how do they slow down the game too much, or do they just keep rolling?
Correct.
I think that running game could just roll all over the Panthers. It doesn't matter. It could be. It's not going to be a 70-20 game,
No.
but in the same idea as the Dolphins game was just running late in that game, and it didn't matter. Like they knew they were running.
You think it's
didn't
gonna be
matter.
like 35-7 kind of shit?
I think it could be like 28-7.
Okay.
Just because, like Trev's right, I don't think
Bryce Young has not looked good.
and they don't have the speed necessarily to like have those big chunks. But I think that David Montgomery is going to run the ball down their throat.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Moving it on.
32 touches, man. 32 touches.
Yeah, that's
32.
don't see that much
touches.
in today's
But I
game.
think they can win both ways, though. I think they.
No,
can
I'm
win
not
if
saying
had a
they can't.
rocket
I
and-
think Goff's got a pretty ball, and his hook with Amara is good, and just the Jameson Williams coming back,
Yeah.
and Sam Laporte has been at
Dude,
5.
Sam
Great.
Laporte has been
Great
playing
addition.
Great.
100%. So no, I don't disagree with you, but 32 touches, man. That to one dude. I love that in the running game. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I want 32 touches in my backfield, but to one guy, woofa.
And coming back from injury.
Yeah,
on top of that.
yes, yeah.
And
But
didn't slow him down. He looked good.
He did look good. He did look good. Clearly, they wouldn't have given him that many touches that he now.
Dude, he was.
Right.
Stay healthy, Montgomery. Run it out, bro.
Following game or next game, Giants Dolphins. This one's in Miami. Dolphins are a 9.5-point favorites. That's a lot of points, but I don't like the Giants.
I don't like Giants either. It's just another 9.5's a lot.
I
Do you
mean,
think it gets even? And this is laying the line before tomorrow night's game.
Right.
Like the Giants still have an opportunity to swing this line
and
in
the
their
Dolphins
favor
just
or
lost.
not. Right.
Yeah, because
exactly.
Pretty convincingly.
It's also, does Barkley play? Like, if he doesn't-
Saquon is doubtful going
For your
into
game,
this,
and then if
right?
he
So he
doesn't-
won't play tomorrow. Doubtful means no.
And then if he doesn't play again next week, that guy could be
why
more.
is there even a doubtful?
That can be a line changer, though.
Sure, 100%.
Very much so. Next
Miami
on
for the win, but I don't know about 9.
yeah, me too. Next on the just because also I think the Giants are. I want to see what the Giants do tomorrow night to see.
Sure,
if,
that's what I'm saying. Exactly. No,
We're
me
still
too.
a game short.
Me
on
too.
that.
yeah.
There's so many
evaluation.
things. This is such real quick. I hate to bring these words out because it's dangerous to say it to manifest it, but this is a trap game for the Seahawks, dude. This is exactly one of those things. Although this is so we're undefeated in MetLife. We're 4-0 since it's been built. Chandler Jones is 0-6 on Monday night.
Huh.
Yeah. So like.
Everything's pointing towards the
Yeah,
Seahawks.
this is Jamal Adams coming back to the stadium that he once played his football in. Julian Love used to play his football there. Like, there's a lot. Pete Carroll used to fucking coach for the Jets. Like, there's some things. We won our Super Bowl there. Let's go.
The next game on the list is a matchup of the 1-3 Bengals against the 1-3 Cardinals. Since he's given 4 in this game, the way Cincy looks, man, it's kind of.
We're staying away from the Bengals.
It's kind of crazy to maybe think you take the Cardinals at this point in the season over.
I'm not letting us bet this game.
They've looked better at this point, though. What if I want to take the Cardinals?
I'm vetoing this game. I would lean Cardinals on this game, but you've got to be kidding me with the other lines out there that's the one you're gonna take.
Dude, that is crazy though. That's what we're talking about. Is a 1-3.
The Bengals have not looked
Where
good.
we would take the Cardinals.
Their eye test. Tell me when they've looked good. Their 19-16 win against the Rams wasn't that great. It was okay.
Right.
I mean, it was a win at home and it was good, but it wasn't like wow.
Rams had no
team.
tackles in that game. They were playing their third string left tackle or whatever.
They were
Real bad.
But no, I don't want to bet the Bengals anymore this season. I really don't, unless it's for them to lose. Because I might lean in the other direction here.
That's why I said bet the Cardinals.
But I don't want to bet
Cover.
the Cardinals.
Oh.
They're bad too. They're bad. They're scrappy.
They're scrappy, though. Scrappy teams keep it close.
I like that though. I like that competitive. Biting kneecaps. What a weird speech. Am I up next?
Yes, sir.
Or is it, I'm sorry. I always fail on the roto. All right. So it's up to. Okay, yes, I do like this matchup. Okay, this one. Okay, Eagles at the Rams, right? And we talked about the Rams' weak point right now is their offensive line, with the strength of the Eagles being the defensive line. Jalen Carter's looked insane. Fletcher Cox has looked good. Brandon Graham has looked good. Nolan Smith has looked fair to middle, and Jordan Davis has looked good. On and on. Like, I think that they go into LA and they can cover 5. I think they can cover that. I think they can win by a tud. I'm not necessarily against that bet per se. Puka Nacua, shout out to you though on the LA Rams though.
Yeah.
Seriously good story in the NFL right now.
Yeah, and it'll also be interesting seeing if Cooper Kupp gets healthy for this game.
What is going to happen when that does happen?
Yes,
What is gonna
that'll be
happen?
interesting. Because that could change.
Yes,
I think.
very much so.
Other than that, I really don't have much for this game. It's in LA, so the Eagles do have to go, to the West Coast.
Yeah, we'll see. This is a big game for both teams, I think.
Agreed. No, I think the Rams. I think the Rams think they can do it, and the Rams can do it if they can protect Stafford. If they can give him just 3 seconds, that team can be good.
Yeah, they'll have to do a lot of quick throws. Quick throws for sure. It's the best chance.
They have a surprisingly okay running game right now.
Yeah, with Williams. They look good today.
Yep.
Like, I mean, getting Cooper Kupp back. Puka Nacua has stepped up. Higbee's still fairly decent. Like, Stafford can sling a rock, still throw it. Just gotta keep him upright. Fuck the Rams, though.
Sure.
What's the next game on the old schedule there, Trev?
I'm scared.
So then follow that up with this is a barn burner right here.
Battle of 1-3 or
1-3 Jets, who probably don't deserve to be 1-3, and the 1-3 Broncos, who probably don't deserve to be 1-3.
They beat the fucking Bills too. That is their one win.
Yeah.
It was week 1.
A lot of picks.
Yeah,
Josh Allen was not good that game.
Allen gave that game to the Jets. The Jets really didn't earn that win. The Broncos kind of got that. I mean, they earned it, I guess, today against the Bears having to come back, but it was the Bears. Like, this is the bottom of the NFL. And it took all that to get that win. Everything they had.
Yeah, we'll see, because the Jets are going to have a good defense, so we'll see if that stymies that Broncos offense at all. This could be a very low-scoring game.
Yeah, that looks like an ugly game just on face value alone.
Don't really want to watch that one.
No, thank you.
No, moving on.
Chiefs at Vikings. No line on this game yet. I don't know. It depends on what the line will even be. Vikings 1-3. Chiefs offense is rolling. They're probably going to roll the Vikings up.
Yeah, I mean,
Once again, I think we've established, I said this 3 to 7 times on just this version of the pod, is that the Vikings are not good. I think the Vikings are not good, and the Chiefs are good. I think they're
Chiefs
going
haven't looked
pendulums.
great though.
We're going in the
Yeah,
Mahomes.
Chiefs look great.
Mahomes is still like, I'm still taking him to go into Minnesota.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs
Get
win
the
this
win,
game,
but-
but I think the Vikings could possibly cover depending on what that spread is.
Correct. Me too.
What do you think the spread opens up at?
I mean, I think. What were the Chiefs tonight? Do you know?
9.
Yeah, there was like 8.5.
Nine.
I think it was 8.5.
I think they could be a touchdown favorite over the Vikings still,
Yeah, me too.
and I like
so
that.
like 7.
I like
Six-
that.
6.5.
Give me 7.5, please.
7.5. Okay, it's gone.
All right, so let's jump into Sunday night, Trev. You got that Sunday night game against the boys.
Oh boy, yeah, this is the highlight of the week 5.
I love that they made that. They already knew this was prime time, right? Like
Is
this
this
one
the
holds up
classic
to
matchup?
a fucking great.
This
prime
is definitely the
time.
best game of the
Absolutely.
week.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. I mean, out of the NFC, these are two of the top teams. Well, I mean, Philly's definitely
Arguably,
in
the
there.
top 2 teams in the NFC outside of obviously the Eagles.
Yeah.
The Eagles is the other one, right?
I mean, I guess you could give the Lions a case, but I still think I have the Cowboys over the Lions at this point. So this is, in Santa Clara. The Niners have, knocked the Cowboys out of the playoffs the last 2 seasons, so I'm sure they're not going to be happy about that. Probably get their A game.
God, that must feel good as a Niners.
It feels great. This being a regular season
Nothing like
game,
bopping down
it
a rival.
could
in the
have
playoffs.
playoff implications.
It does. Once again, it does.
This
game
could be
absolutely
for the
does.
favorite in the NFC, possibly.
Well, you're gonna have to win the West first, so.
I'm not worried about the West. I'm
I'm
looking forward. I'm looking forward to a rematch in the playoffs again. And so far, so good for my side. But we'll see how this Sunday rolls out.
It's like you said, this is historic. This is good. It is good when these two teams are relevant. This is good for the NFL. This is good for storylines. This is going to be a great media week for this game. There's a lot of history here, like that always pays off, and it's good when you're both good. Rivalries are best when both of the teams are good. It sucks when
Yes.
one half of the rival doesn't hold up the bargain, right?
Purdy versus Parsons.
Yeah. and
I'm really curious to see how he performs. Being this is a real defense that he gets to go against.
definitely will be the biggest test for both teams so far. Man,
I can't believe the Cowboys lost to the Cardinals.
that does still surprise me.
That's gonna hang over their head.
So obviously, with the Cowboys having that loss and the Niners being at home to our 3.5-point favorites,
That's fair.
I think it is. Man, though, I don't bet against my team, but I would almost consider taking the Cowboys just because I think it could be one of those games.
1 to 2 point, like a 1, 2 point, 3 point game. Like
Yeah,
a field goal
I think
game.
this is a field goal game.
27,
I really
24.
do. I think both teams are gonna battle. It's just which way the ball bounces, who's gonna come out with the big play. Both of these teams are, I'm sure, gonna talk a lot leading up to this game.
Oh, dude, that's what I'm saying.
And they're gonna try and
This media week is going to be wonderful in the NFL for
Yes.
sure. This is a huge fucking matchup. Like, yeah, shout out to the NFL getting this one right.
And we'll jump into Monday night where the Packers go to Vegas to play the Raiders.
The Raiders are
the Raiders
bad.
on the
The Raiders
downside here.
right? The Raiders are bad. Like that's
Josh McDaniels, I don't think he's a very good coach.
which is he's not. He's not as a head coach. He's a coordinator.
Yep.
You know your lane, bro. You're a coordinator, and
He's
you're
not very
you're a
good.
good coordinator.
Maybe
but
with
not a
Tom
head
Brady.
coach. Not a good head coach.
Yeah. So I don't really expect. I mean, I expect a low-scoring game. It's only Packers are given one. It's probably pretty close. It's a big one. I expect it to be a pretty low-scoring game.
I'd be yawning over here too. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm disinterested. It's just that
It's
it's
just
almost
late.
11 o'clock at night.
All right, so that's our review or pick.
Yeah,
That's our
no
preview.
Seahawks love for week 5. We on the bye. We need it though. We are already heading into this Giants game pretty banged up for week 4, so we need to get through this. Hopefully catch a dub on the road and get home heal for a couple of weeks.
First weeks for the bye weeks coming up.
I don't necessarily want to go on a tangent, but I think bye weeks should be a little bit more compact. I think they should be like week 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, I
like
think they
4
should be
weeks,
farther in.
smack, right in the middle, bop, 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 bop. Like, I know it would cut down significantly on the amount of national games, but it'd actually kind of be okay because you don't broadcast that fucking many nationally anyway, right? Like, regionally, you could still get your game or whatever. I don't know. I think it's a real disadvantage for a team to have a bye week 5 or a team to have a bye week 14. Like, that's insane. Like, that's a 9-week swing, right? Like, that's bonkers.
Yeah, that is a lot. It would. I mean, I think the only reason they don't condense it into like a smaller sample size is because it probably fall into maybe November, and November has like with Thanksgiving and like I think they even have a Black Friday game now. They're spreading out the games even more. Is I think why they don't condense it even more. But I could be wrong. That's just the thought.
I don't know. I think that you could easily get them out of the way in the middle of the because everybody hates their bye week. Everybody
Because you don't get to watch your team.
You're right. You get to watch everybody.
There's only so many weeks.
That's why I didn't like today. I love football Sunday, but I got to wait.
Yeah, I'll wait till
I
tomorrow.
gotta wait. Yeah, but that's some good week 5 matchups. A lot of them we wouldn't touch. I'm not touching them, honestly. Like we'll pick 3 out and we'll put it up on Instagram and the X like we always do. So look out for that.
Yes.
We're gonna be coming back with
Common sense and
fandom.
Yep.
All right, welcome back to Balls and Brews. Let's jump into some common sense, and then after common sense, our fandom. Common sense this week is Chandler Jones. Not really sure what's going on with him, but he came out with a tweet this week and basically tweeted that said that his brother Aaron Hernandez did not kill himself in jail. That Josh McDaniels had him taken out like a hit. That's pretty crazy. Not really sure. Then he gets arrested and then he gets released. Not really sure what's going on there. Mental health is no thing to joke about, but this season's kind of been weird with his tweets and posts and whatever he's been saying. But I don't know how you can say that somebody didn't commit suicide and the coach had him taken out. I'm not the biggest Josh McDaniels fan, but I'm not saying he's taking people out.
Yeah, if it isn't a mental, I mean, it is in some way a mental health issue. It could be CTE, possibly. It could be his own mental health issues that he has, but definitely something is off, and he needs to get the help that he needs, because this thing has gone on quite sideways.
It's so weird. Weird.
Yeah.
So John Bones Jones is his brother in the USC. So this is a family of athletes, came from well-to-do. This to me, once again, I'm not belittling the idea of mental health and taking care of, Marshawn Lynch said it the best on his way out of Seattle. Take care of your chickens, okay? You got to make sure they all in the netting, right? They're all together now. But I think he's an ass. I think Chandler Jones is an ass. I just don't think he's getting what he wants, and he's putting out all of this. I think
this is some weird stuff to put out if you're not getting what you want, though, man.
Right? Okay, but you don't think? Okay, so
okay, so
There's a couple of screws loose.
Right, this is borderline Kanye-esque right here, where we're going in the territory of the claims that he's making, the shit that he's saying, and like, so you think, okay, do you think this guy's like, I think this guy's off his rocker, clearly, like, but what spurs him to do, because he's been in the league now for, it's not like he's a rookie or like, a second-year guy, he's a 12-year guy kind of thing, right?
This is coming to the end, and it's getting real crazy at the end, tell you what.
Weird. It is, how do you think this is going to play out? He got arrested and released, from both the police and the Raiders.
Yeah, so I mean, teams are going to look into it. They're going to investigate what
He's
really
never
happened.
coming back to the league. No
I don't
way.
think so.
No way. No way. He's too old. If he was young, maybe he'd get another shot. But his age is going to fucking, to get him out of that.
This is probably going to be it for him. I feel like. You think anything different?
No, I don't. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where the rest of the story goes. It really will. To see, like...
Bizarre, to say the least. And, like, once again, I do want to wrap it up from my side and just say, like, dude, do get the help you need if that's what you need.
Right.
You have identified that, and I just... It doesn't... If this feels off, this feels attention grabby to me, and as bad as that sounds, that's just where I kind of naturally feel.
That kind of leads me to like maybe some Antonio Brown. Like
he's very attention grabby-esque. Do run off or take my shit off in the end zone and bounce out the back of the New York Jet end zone and then leave.
Some really strange behavior.
I mean, I haven't been hit in the head anywhere near as many times as these guys have, so I can't say that, it could be that, catch the energy, CTE, as Antonio Brown likes to call it.
I didn't hear that.
Dude, he said, I don't know if it was his tweet, but it was like, I saw an account that was like, CTE under Antonio Brown, catch the energy.
Wow.
Hilarious. Sorry, it's not. It's funny. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I find things funny. But Chandler, get help. Chandler, get back to the Raiders. Raiders get better. Josh McDaniels get fired. Common sense. Let Zach run your team. He would have drafted better. You would have Reek Woolen. You would definitely have Reek Woolen.
You have a lot of guys you don't have. So we're going to jump into our fandom. So our fandom this week is going to be like the quarter... A little bit of a quarter review in the NFL, what we've each kind of seen, and also a little bit of like a quarter review in the college football. It's a little more than a quarter in college, but little review. Anybody want to start?
I mean, I'll start us off. When it comes to college, as far as what we've seen, I am just so happy being a USC fan again. It's been a while, and having just Caleb Williams, we haven't had this quarterback play, we haven't had this kind of head coach, and it's just the excitement that I feel like USC is going to have a Heisman hopeful every year almost.
Yep.
And that's just such a great feeling. It's been a feeling that's been missing after being on that high with Pete Carroll back in those days. And, man, it just makes me so excited to watch college football again. How do you feel about this, though?
I do, too. I feel I feel excited about USC football. I also feel excited about college football in general. The Pac-12 being good this year has been super exciting. I think that one of the most underlooked teams is Charles's Washington Huskies. I think people need to watch out for them. I think they're explosive offensively. And then it's nice. It'd be nice to see Georgia lose and get like more movement. Like Bama's down in the rankings, so it's nice to see new people up in the rankings, even if it is some old names like Texas. And but yeah, it's nice. And Ohio State's still up there. We'll see what happens with them and Michigan. But it's nice to see college. And then for pro football, the Bengals, man, I'm very surprised about them. Very surprised that Pittsburgh has looked as bad as they have, but also surprised that the Bucks have looked as good as they have. Like, the Bucks through 4 games might be more of a... Are the Bucks being good more surprising than the Bengals being bad? Is kind of like where my radar is right now.
That's a good take. I would say it's about even.
Of where my radar is right now of kind of bigger surprises in the NFL. The Bengals being that bad and the Bucks being this good. Also, offensive lines have kind of been shitty. In the
That's
NFL,
a nice way of putting it.
There's some really bad offensive lines. Bengals have one of them. Saints have one of them. Raiders gave up 6 sacks today to Khalil Mack alone. So the Rams got demolished on Monday night with a bad line. The Bengals kind of tore them up. So, what about you, Chuck? What are you feeling?
Man, yeah, thank you for giving the love to UW in the Husky ranks. So overall college narrative, I love that the Pac-12 is relevant. I love that I wish we were staying at 4, maybe going to 6 or 8.
Correct.
For
not 12.
the college football playoff. Going to 12 starting next year is too much. If Utah, they were ranked 10th in the nation just this week. If they had made it into that rank and they dropped that game in a playoff game, are you fucking kidding me? You're going to try to tell me that there's 12 teams that deserve a shot at a natty title? No. Anyway, UW has looked great. We looked fair against Arizona, but once again, got to win, some tough ones. I was on the road, so, I'm nervous, though, because after this year, we're going to get poached by both the NFL and graduation. We're going to have to turn over this squad, and I don't think we're necessarily sustainable in the way that SC is, or obviously at Texas, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, LSU, Florida State, Clemson, these kind of teams. Like we always do the rotationary thing where we get a class in and we groom them, and then by the end of that, class or 2, we have that one team and we're excellent, and that's where we're at. So we have to fucking capitalize. We cannot lose. We gotta play. I don't think we play in the regular season, but if we meet y'all in the Pac-12 championship, that'd be fucking epic. We could be like a top fucking 5 matchup. That'd be nuts, dude.
All for that.
But we gotta get there. I don't want to overlook. We have a bye this week, but overall college has been great this year. There's been some excellent quarterback play. It bums me out about all the relocation when it comes to, the realignment stuff again, and Stanford and Cal going to the ACC and us going to the Big Ten and losing the Pac-12, and that I'm bummed about. I know this is only a quarterly wrap-up, but I suppose it's relevant. And then the NFL with the Seahawks, baby, we got the game tomorrow night. It's going to be very telling. We're on a 2-game winner right now, but we haven't necessarily. The one team that we did play was the Rams, and they gave us a fit. We haven't necessarily played. We have a brutal schedule coming up too. So, we need to get the wins that we can. We need to go to 3 and win. We got to try to keep pace with the Niners because we still have 2 games against them. So we got to stay in striking distance for the West. Got to beat the teams you're supposed to, even on the road. But the NFL has been confusing this season. It's been the Eagles have been good and the Niners have been good. That's about it. The Cowboys are good. We do know that. They floundered a game, but we know they're good.
Yeah, I'd say, Buffalo and Miami are good too.
Yeah,
I don't know if I trust Miami though on a meaningful playoff game style basis.
But you're gonna
trust pop
Kansas City.
Yes.
Baltimore's another team I'd throw out there.
I don't know if I necessarily trust them the same way. Kansas City,
Detroit, maybe.
Do I trust them? No, the Seahawks beat them.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in another 4 games. Let's get halfway through.
Sure. No, but it's been an interesting fucking opening 4 weeks for the NFL, though, overall, right? Some teams that we thought were going to bang haven't, and the teams that we thought were going to suck Haven't. So that part I do like. I like seeing the Texans step up. I like seeing the Bucks step up. I like seeing teams that I was giving a real, like, even once again, the Cardinals are scrappy. Stay with it. You know, stay scrappy. Jitterbug, that's the family nickname that we've given Kyler Murray because he just looks like he's just always, you know, moving back there. Could have come off the IR, right, the pup, this week, but they're saying he's kind of far.
Yeah.
So they're not going to open that window up until he's ready. And in other words,
I was just going to say with him out, Dobbs has looked his best that he's ever looked.
Sure, he's kept them competitive.
And that kind of came out of nowhere. It was like
Agreed,
17
he was
games
bad.
before the start of the season.
He was bad
They
in
acquire
Tennessee. He was, yeah. And he was bad the previous time we saw him in Tennessee. He looked real bad in that offense. That Vrabel, whatever they tried to do with him at the end of that year was awful.
That's another thing that gives me faith in the coaching staff, where they can get that kind of play out of their players. Like, man,
sure.
That
And
one feel good.
Last little NFL thing, I guess, here before we just wrap all of this up is that the Colts did open the 21-day practice window for Jonathan Taylor. Movement for the rest of his year happens in 21 days, meaning he's got to go to the active roster, or he's got to get traded, or he's got to stay on the pup for the rest of the year. Once you activate, you cannot delete. It is 21 days. Action has to happen for Jonathan Taylor.
Do we think he gets traded?
No.
He basically said he's not going to play, right? So you're gonna keep him on fit. You dress him and sit him. What actually can happen? How does that actually happen?
I will find out. I mean, I don't think they trade him. They're asking for too much.
If he sits, I don't know how he could sit out. I don't know how this works. Then he forfeits his pay, I guess, basically is what it is, right? He holds out. They keep his contract and they roll the year.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I can't. It doesn't make a lot of sense because if they roll the year, you're losing all those game checks. You're stuck in your contract.
Right. Doesn't make sense for him at all.
But he's definitely seems super upset with the team, and the team seems like they want more for him than they're willing to pay him, which is just so confusing.
The very reports that I have seen have been way over. Multiple players, multiple picks, multiple first-round picks with like multiple banger all-pro players. It's insane. They're doing it because they don't want to trade him. But there you go.
It's them, asking to his request, but not.
Right.
We'll
shop
you, but we're not going to actually.
You go seek a trade. We'll let you seek a trade, and then you come back.
That we said was good enough. Now it's not good enough.
No, it's not. Well, there it is, y'all.
Yeah, so
Pod 29.
So keep your eye out. We got lots of. We touched on some college football games coming up this week. There's always upsets. Touched on some good NFL games that are coming up as well.
MLB playoffs.
I
know this was a little bit further back in the pod, but watch out for that.
I'll be watching those every day.
Absolutely. Well, good, you guys. Fucking make sure you check out the beers on X and Instagram. Make sure you give us a shout out on YouTube, Buzzsprout, Spotify. We're live on all of them.
Yep.
Till next week.
Subscribe. Any of those things. All those things.
We love you guys. Good night.
We'll see you next week.
Nice.